దయచేసి అందరూ మీ స్థానాల్లో ఆసీనులు కావాల్సిందిగా ప్రార్థిస్తున్నాం. పూర్తి నిశ్శబ్దాన్ని పాటించండి. ఓం స్థాపకాయ చ ధర్మస్య సర్వధర్మస్వరూపిణే అవతారవరిష్ఠాయ రామకృష్ణాయ తే నమః. జననీం శారదాం దేవీం రామకృష్ణం జగద్గురుం పాదపద్మే తయో శ్రుత్వా ప్రణమామి ముహుర్ముహుః. నమశ్రీయతిరాజాయ వివేకానందసూరయే సచ్చిత్సుఖస్వరూపాయ స్వామిని తాపహారిణి. శ్రీ రామకృష్ణ మిషన్ శ్రీ 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 వివేకానంద స్వామి వారు 1897 మే 1వ తారీఖున బలరాం బోస్ గృహంలో స్థాపించి 125 సంవత్సరాలు పూర్తయిన సందర్భంగా గత సంవత్సరం నుంచి కూడా విశ్వవ్యాప్తంగా మనం అందరూ కూడా సభలు సమావేశాలు నిర్వహించుకుంటున్నాం. ఆ కార్యక్రమానికి చివరిగా సమావర్తన సమావేశంగా ఈ సభా కార్యక్రమాన్ని మనం నిర్వహించుకుంటున్నాం. చాలా పెద్ద పెద్ద స్వాములు విద్యావేత్తలు అందరూ కూడా వచ్చారు. మీరందరూ కూడా సభా మండపంలోకి వచ్చి ఆశీనులు కావాల్సిందిగా కోరుతున్నాం. ఆత్మనో మోక్షార్థం జగద్గీతాయ చ అనే మూల సూత్రంతో స్వామి వివేకానంద ఈ యొక్క రామకృష్ణ మిషన్ని భావప్రచార పరిషత్తు ద్వారా మనం అందరూ కూడా వ్యాప్తి చేస్తున్నాం. రామకృష్ణ పరమహంస గారి యొక్క, శారదాదేవి, వివేకానందుల యొక్క సిద్ధాంతాలని. అయితే ఈ ఉత్సవాలన్నీ కూడా ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తంగా నిర్వహిస్తున్నారు. రామకృష్ణుల యొక్క బోధనలు విశ్వవ్యాప్తం చేసి మానవ కళ్యాణానికి మార్గదర్శనం చేయడమే శ్రీ రామకృష్ణ మిషన్ యొక్క స్థాపన ప్రధాన లక్ష్యం. అందుకు తగినట్లుగా శ్రీ రామకృష్ణ మిషన్ అనేక సేవా కార్యక్రమాలను ప్రజా సంక్షేమం కోసం, విలువలతో కూడిన విద్యా వ్యాప్తికి, తద్వారా మానవ నిర్మాణానికి, మ్యాన్ మేకింగ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కోసం కార్యక్రమాలు ఎనలేని సేవలు అందిస్తోంది. శ్రీ రామకృష్ణ మిషన్ స్థాపన 125 సంవత్సరముల సమావర్తన సమావేశం సందర్భంగా హిందూ మతాంతర వివిధ కోణములను ఆవిష్కరించడానికి ఈ ప్రత్యేక సమావేశాన్ని ఏర్పాటు చేయడం జరిగింది. మన అధ్యక్ష మహారాజు అయినటువంటి బోధమయానంద స్వామీజీ మన యొక్క విశిష్ట అతిథులను అందరినీ కూడా వేదిక మీదకి తీసుకొస్తారు. శ్రీ 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 శ్రీమన్ చిన్నజీరి స్వామి వారు ఏం చేశారు, వారికి మా హృదయపూర్వక స్వాగతం. అలాగే తర్వాత స్వామి ఆత్మప్రియానంద, తర్వాత స్వామి తత్వవిధానంద సరస్వతి అండ్ ఆచార్య వీరనారాయణ ఎన్కే పాండురంగి, వీరందరికీ కూడా రామకృష్ణ మఠం హైదరాబాద్ దోమలు కూడా సుస్వాగతం, స్వాగతం, ప్రణామాలు అర్పిస్తాం. Vedic chanting.
श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं महागणपतये नमः। प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु आनो दिवो बृहतः पर्वताधा सरस्वती यजतागन्तु यज्ञं वाग्देव्यै नमः। ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः। नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। यश्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽध्यमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया आस्पृणोतु। अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचर्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरिविश्रुवं ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। तच्छंयूरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजं शन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे शञ्चतुष्पदे। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। Now Sri Ramakrishna Sangha Stotra. सर्वधर्मस्थापकस्त्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः सर्वधर्मस्थापकस्त्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः आचार्याणां महाचार्यो रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। आचार्याणां महाचार्यो रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हि या, यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हि या, सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। परतत्त्वे सदा लीनो रामकृष्णसमाज्ञया, परतत्त्वे सदा लीनो रामकृष्णसमाज्ञया, यो धर्मस्थापनरतो वीरेशं तं नमाम्यहम्। यो धर्मस्थापनरतो वीरेशं तं नमाम्यहम्। कालिन्दी फुल्लकमले माधवेन क्रीडारता, कालिन्दी कमले माधवेन क्रीडारता, ब्रह्मानन्द नमस्तुभ्यं सद्गुरो लोकनायक। ब्रह्मानन्द नमस्तुभ्यं सद्गुरो लोकनायक। योगानन्द प्रेमानन्दश्चान्येव ये च पार्षदा, योगानन्द प्रेमानन्दश्चान्येव ये च पार्षदा, रामकृष्णगतप्राणा सर्वांस्तान् प्रणमाम्यहम्। रामकृष्णगतप्राणा सर्वांस्तान् प्रणमाम्यहम्। सर्वांस्तान् प्रणमाम्यहम्। A small bhajan. गोविंद माधव गोपाल केशव नरसिंहाच्युत नारायण। गोविंद माधव गोपाल केशव नरसिंहाच्युत नारायण। दशरथ नंदन सीता मनोहर दानव मर्दन दयानिधे। दशरथ नंदन सीता मनोहर दानव मर्दन दयानिधे। राम राघवा राजीव लोचन कामित फलदा करिवरदा। कृष्ण केशवा अम्बुजलोचन कामित फलदा करि वरदा राम राम गोविन्द राम कल्याण राम पाहि श्रीराम राम पट्टाभिराम कोदण्ड राम पाहि श्रीराम राम पट्टाभिराम कोदण्ड राम पाहि राम राम नयनाभिराम लोकाभिराम पाहि जलधिशयन रविचन्द्र विलोचन जलज भवस्तुत श्रीराम जलधिशयन रविचन्द्र विलोचन जलज भवस्तुत श्रीराम कौसल्यात्मज कामित फलदा मारुति सेवित पाहि राम राम पाहि हरे राम राम पाहि जय जय राम राम पाहि हरे राम राम पाहि जय जय राम राम पाहि राम राम पाहि जय जय राम राम पाहि राम राम पाहि जय जय गोविन्द माधव गोपाल केशव नरसिंहाच्युत नारायण गोविन्द माधव गोपाल केशव नरसिंहाच्युत नारायण
ఇప్పుడు మన బోధమయానజీ మహారాజు వారు ఇతర వేదిక ఆశలు లేనిటువంటి మఠాధిపతులు పెద్దలను తీసుకువెళ్ళి జ్యోతి ప్రజ్వలన చేస్తారు. స్వాములకు ఇప్పుడు పూలమాల అంకుర్తులను చేసిస్తారు. శ్రీ బోధమానందజీ శ్రీ 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 చిన్నజీయర్ స్వామివారికి పూర్ణాలంకరణ చేస్తున్నారు. ఈరోజు చాలా సుదినం. సాధూనాం దర్శనం పుణ్యం. అటువంటి ఎందరో మహాత్ముల్ని మనం ఈరోజు వేదిక మీద దర్శించుకుంటున్నాం. వారందరికీ కూడా సాష్టాంగ ప్రణామాలు సమర్పించుకుంటున్నాం. ఇప్పుడు మన మఠాధ్యక్షులు బోధభయానందజీ మహారాజ్ వెల్కమ్ అడ్రస్ చేస్తారు.
నిరంజనం నిత్యమనంతరూపం భక్తానుకంపాధృతవిగ్రహం వై ఈశావతారం పరమేశమీడ్యం తం రామకృష్ణం శిరసా నమామి. కాయేన వాచా మనసేంద్రియైర్వా బుద్ధ్యాత్మనా వా ప్రకృతే స్వభావాత్ కరోమి యద్యత్ సకలం పరస్మై నారాయణాయేతి సమర్పయామి. యం బ్రహ్మా వరుణేంద్రరుద్రమరుతః స్తున్వంతి దివ్యైస్తవైః వేదైః సాంగపదక్రమోపనిషదైః గాయంతి యం సామగాః. ధ్యానావస్థితతద్గతేన మనసా పశ్యంతి యం యోగినో యస్యాంతం న విదుఃసురాసురగణాః. దేవాయ తస్మై నమః. దేవాయ తస్మై నమః. వేదికను అలంకరించిన పద్మభూషణ్ శ్రీ 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 త్రిదండి రామానుజ చిన్నజీయర్ స్వామికి నా ప్రణామములు. స్వామి తత్వవిదాంత సరస్వతి గారికి నా ప్రణామములు. స్వామి ఆత్మప్రియానందజీ మహారాజ్ బేలూరు మఠం వివేకానంద యూనివర్సిటీ నుంచి వచ్చేశారు. వారి పాదపద్మాలకు నా ప్రణామములు. ఆచార్య వీరనారాయణ పాండురంగి బెంగళూరు నుంచి విచ్చేశారు. సంస్కృత యూనివర్సిటీ డీన్ మరియు ప్రొఫెసర్. ఆయనకి నా నమస్కారములు. ఇతర సాధువులందరికీ నా నమస్కారం. భక్తులందరికీ నా నమస్కారం, ప్రార్థనలు. Today is a very important day, not only in Hyderabad, but Sanatana Dharma as a whole. On the occasion of the 125th anniversary of the celebrations of the Ramakrishna Mission, which was founded by Swami Vivekananda on May 1st, 1897. All over the country, series of celebrations, events, festivals, youth programs to fulfill the vision and mission of Sanatana Dharma and what Swami Vivekananda has laid before us 125 years ago is being organized from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and Gujarat to Northeast, both in the organizations, in the centers, and also in the private centers by the devotees. So as suggested by our headquarters, Hyderabad has been selected as one of the centers for this unique conference, Unity in Diversity, to bring about a unification of the different branches and facets of Hinduism for the welfare of humanity, for the welfare of the entire community. Bahujana Hitaya, Bahujana Sukhaya. So on this occasion, as you see on the stage, decorated with Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swami Vivekananda, accepting our invitation with great love, faith and blessings. We have different branches of Hinduism represented by the great leaders. A unique occasion really, very common blend of realizing God, searching for truth, and sadhana being practiced. The devotees, the public, the youth, the younger generation have to put their head and heart together and strengthen the very foundations of Hinduism, the Sanatana Dharma, which is for evolution and not just for revolution. Sri Ramakrishna, who lived between 1836 and 1886 in the 19th century, the crucial period of Indian history, did not identify himself with any particular sect, but accepted Hinduism as a whole. Whether it was Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita or Advaita, or any other devotional aspects of Hinduism, Sri Ramakrishna practiced and brought about an integrated experience of reality, that the various Hindu deities are different aspects of one supreme Godhead. It brought about a great deal of harmony even during his time itself, whether he was a Tantric or a Vaishnavite, whether he was a Ganapatya or whether he was a Bhakta. All could come to Sri Ramakrishna and gain peace, joy and fulfillment. Though Sri Ramakrishna did not study in detail the various texts of Sanatana Dharma, but from his own teachers, Bhairavi Brahmani, who taught him Vaishnavism and Tantrikism, and from his guru, Totapuri, he learnt the secrets and the tenets of Advaita Vedanta. And so many ascetics, so many sadhus used to visit Dakshineshwar Kali temple on their way to Puri. Sri Ramakrishna used to meet them, talk to them, serve them, and learn from them the various aspects of Sanatana Dharma and other aspects of religion. So, in the 19th century, he became a Margadarshak, he became a lighthouse for all the people concerned who were in confusion in Hinduism at that time. So, on the occasion of the 125th anniversary of the foundation of Ramakrishna Mission, this is a very, very humble, very small attempt to invite the religious leaders of the different branches of Hinduism on one platform and learn from them the basic tenets of the philosophies which the layman can follow, and also to gain newer insights and inspiration in strengthening the roots of Sanatana Dharma. On behalf of the Ramakrishna Math Hyderabad and on behalf of all my brother monks, devotees, we cordially welcome wholeheartedly Swami Atma Priyanji, who is the Pro-Chancellor of the Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda Educational Research Institute, in short, Vivekananda University, deemed to be university, in Belur Math. My humble pranams to revered Atma Priyanandaji. We have with us, as I said, Padma Bhushan Shri 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 Tridandi Channajiyar Swamiji, well-known, popular, famous, most loving personality. My humble pranams to revered Maharaj. Swami Tattvavedanta Saraswati Maharaj of Arshavidya Gurukulam and a resident of Secunderabad, a popular Vedantic scholar. He is also present on the stage representing Advaita. My humble pranams to him. We have with us Acharya Veera Narayana Pandurangi, Professor and Dean, Karnataka Sanskrit University, who will share his ideas on Dvaita philosophy. My loving namaskars to him. We have with us special guests, Telangana Police Director General of Police, Shri Anjani Kumarji with us. We welcome you, sir. We're very happy that you have made time to participate in this program. And also, see our devotee and a senior police IG from Telangana, and Srimati Soumya Mishra, who is also present in this auditorium. We have Matajis from Amritandamayi Mutt, and also the followers of the Advaita philosophy, along with all other devotees who are present from different backgrounds. My namaskars to all of you. We welcome you and other spiritual seekers to this conference and invite each one of you to become an active participant in the national resurgence of our country and religion. The time has come not for misunderstandings, not for any other background criticisms of Hinduism and our way of life, etc., but to have Bhagavan Vedavyasa's mindset, Vishala Buddhi. Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravinda Yatapatra Nitra Yenatvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Gnanamaya Pradipaha. Along with Bhakti, let us develop Gnana, knowledge, and be blessed to attain the lotus feet of the Supreme Being. So it's a great occasion. May gain the best out of these discourses by the learned monks, and let us all move forward, as Sri Ramakrishna said, to reach the highest pinnacle of glory, which is our moksha, which is our real nature of man. So I pray to Sri Ramakrishna to bless all of us and to bless all of you on this historic, unique occasion of Unity in Diversity Conference. Jai Sriman Narayana, Jai Ramakrishna.
ప్రస్తుతం మనకి అనుగ్రహ భాషను ఇచ్చేటువంటి స్వాముల గురించి సంక్షిప్తంగా నేను వివరిస్తాను. ఎందుచేతనంటే వారికి ఉన్నటువంటి విద్యార్హతలు, వారు చేసినటువంటి కృషి వివరంగా చెప్పాలంటే మొత్తం వారి ప్రసంగం కంటే నా ఉపోద్ఘాతం ఎక్కువ అవుతుందేమో అని భయం వేస్తోంది. అందుచేత క్లుప్తంగా చెప్తాను. ఆచార్య వీరనారాయణ పాండురంగి గారి యొక్క కుటుంబము గత 700 సంవత్సరాలుగా విశిష్టాద్వైత మత సిద్ధాంతాన్ని మరియు న్యాయ సిద్ధాంతాన్ని ప్రచారం చేస్తున్నారు. వారు కామెంటరీ ఆన్ ఋగ్వేద బీయింగ్ పబ్లిష్డ్ ఇన్ ఫ్రమ్ 2022 2022 నుంచి వారు ఋగ్వేదం మీద వేసినటువంటి అది పబ్లిష్ అవుతుంది. 1973లో విజయపుర, కర్ణాటకలో వీరనారాయణ పాండురంగి గారు studied at Purna Prajna Vidyapita under the tutelage of Sri Vishwatirtha Swamiji, Professor Prahaladachar. వారు కూడా ఇప్పుడు మఠాధిపతిగా ఉన్నారు. సోషలి వ్యాసరాజ మఠ పీఠాధిపతిగా ఉన్నారు. అలాగే ప్రొఫెసర్ హవయవాదన పూర్ణిక, ప్రొఫెసర్ జి గురు వెంకటాచార్య, వీరందరి దగ్గర కూడా వారు చదువుకోవడం జరిగింది. వారు రీసెర్చ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఆర్ ఇన్ ఫీల్డ్ ఆఫ్ వేదిక్ స్టడీస్, వేద విజ్ఞానం మీద వారు పరిశోధనలు చేశారు. అలాగే భారతీయ ఇండియన్ లాజిక్, న్యాయశాస్త్రం మీద, ద్వైత వేదాంతం మీద, పూర్వ మీమాంస, ఏన్షియంట్ ఇండియన్ హిస్టరీ అండ్ మెషిన్ ట్రాన్స్లేషన్, వేర్ హీ హాజ్ కంట్రిబ్యూటెడ్ బై పబ్లిషింగ్ మెనీ బుక్స్ అండ్ పేపర్స్ ఇన్ వేరియస్ జర్నల్స్. వారు పబ్లిష్ చేసినటువంటి పేపర్లు అనేకం ఉన్నాయి. అలాగే వారు ఆ పరిపాలనా రంగంలో కూడా చాలా అనుభవజ్ఞులు. రిజిస్ట్రార్గా కేఎస్యు 22 to 23 ఉన్నారు, 22-1-23 వరకు ఉన్నారు. డైరెక్టర్ పరసారంగా కర్ణాటక సాంస్క్రిట్ యూనివర్సిటీ బెంగళూరు, రిజిస్ట్రార్ కర్ణాటక సాంస్క్రిట్ యూనివర్సిటీ బెంగళూరులో ఉన్నారు. వారి అనుగ్రహ భాషను ఇవ్వవలసిందిగా సవినయంగా ప్రార్థిస్తున్నాను.
శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. హరి ఓం. ఓష్ఠాపిధాన न कुली दन्तैः परिवृता पविः सर्वस्यै वाच ईशाना चारुमामिह वादयेत् अभ्रमं भङ्गरहितं अजडं विमलं सदा आनन्दतीर्थमतुलं भजे तापत्रयापहं तपस्वाध्याय शुश्रूषा कृष्णपूजारतं मुनिं विश्वेशमिष्टदं वन्दे परिव्राट् चक्रवर्तिनम्. I am very much fortunate to be here on the occasion of the function organized on the occasion of the 125th celebration of the Ramakrishna Mission. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was a divine personality. He has been showing the path of liberation to the humankind. I feel very much blessed to be here. I offer my pranams to all the acharyas, Adhyaksha Mahoday, Chinnajiyar Swamiji and Tattvavidanand Swamiji, Atmapriyanand Swamiji, Bodhamayanand Swamiji, all the great respected acharyas. I bow to you. So today we are going to have some dialogue on the common approach of all the Vedantas. That is the highly needed common theme to be followed by all the Hindus. I will give some points as asked by the Swamiji. As you know, Madhvacharya was born in the year 1199 in the Pajaka, a small village near Udupi, and he was initiated into the sannyasa by his 11th or 12th year. He wanted to propagate the Vedic Dharma, Bhakti Siddhanta. So he was initiated into the sannyasa by Achyuta Parikshacharya, who was from the Sanakadi Sampradaya. And from then onwards, he studied some of the texts with Achyuta Parikshacharya, and he traveled wide and far across the India, had chance of meeting all the great scholars here, had debate and had discussions, and he wrote 37 works called Sarvamoola Granthas to propagate his Bhakti Siddhanta. His Siddhanta is called Tattvavada. It is also called by the name Dvaita Vedanta. It seems there is some consensus between the three Vedantas, Dvaita, Advaita and Vishishta Advaita, because the name says Dvaita and Advaita both contradictory to each other. So we need to understand the perspectives of acharyas, how they propagated their philosophies. And it is the need of time that Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma is being covered from all the corners. And people want us to believe that there is no common Vedic Dharma or Sanatana Dharma. The people, they want us to believe because all the different approaches are totally different, they are contradictory, they have no common approach. So all the paths are different. There is no common approach amongst them. This is the one commonly held or being imposed upon us. So it is important that we need to understand what Acharya said. So I will I will narrate some of the Acharya's consensual approach in three categories. One is Pramana or Vidya, and another is Upasya, and another is the Purushartha, where we have most common approach amongst us. The one thing that we need to do is going to the Rishis. That is most important thing. In the time of Rishis, there were so many Rishis, the Atri, Bharadwaja, Vasishtha, Vishwamitra, Yajnavalkya, Gargi, Maitreyi, Kahola, Ashvalayana, Ashvala, Ushastha, Chakrayana, etc., etc. So many Rishis were there. They had many discussions amongst them, but it was not such a vehement opposition as it seems to be the case now. They had discussions, but their discussion was for the understanding of the truth. It was not the polemics, Vada for the Vada. Their discussions were for the Satya Darshana. Most of the Rishis, they did very hard tapasya for years and years, and they got the sakshatkar of the Satya, the realization of the Satya, revelation of the Satya. That is the voice of all the Rishis. So, the people who were highly capable of understanding or realization of that Satya, they got the revelation of mantras and Upanishads, Brahmanas, etc. These people gave mantras to the others who were not so capable of receiving the direct revelation from the Parabrahman. Sakshatkrita dharmanaha rishayo babhuvuhu. It is the Yaska says, te avarebhyaha asakshatkrita dharmabhyaha mantran praduhu. So, the people who received these mantras from the highly regarded rishis, they followed the truth of acharyas. So, there was no point of so much contradictory views between all of them. Thus grew few of the shakhas, sampradayas of various rishis. Slowly, we came to the acharya's time, where because of the time lapse or the aggression of so many external forces or whatever we call, there was a time of confusion. What was the truth? So, these acharyas, they descended down the earth, Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vallabhacharya, Nimbarkacharya, so many acharyas from 7th century to the 13th, 14th century. These acharyas descended down the earth, and with their great skills, great, extraordinary intellectual capacity, and the hidden tradition, somehow the tradition was alive, but it was not commonly available. These people, they got the sampradaya, and they wrote various commentaries on Brahma Sutras, Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads to show the path of liberation to the humankind. So this is the time of acharyas. These acharyas had common approach amongst all these things. What is the Parabrahman, the nature of Parabrahman, the nature of Jiva, the nature of Mukti, and the nature of this Jagat? They all had common approach, though there seems to be some apparent contradiction in all of them, but still we can see the common approach there. We will discuss it. And then from the Acharya's time, so many highly respected later authors, they wrote many great texts on the different philosophies. Chitsukacharya, Srimad Jaitirtha, Vyasatirtha, Vedanta Deshikacharya, Madhusudana Saraswati, etc. All these great people, they scholars, they wrote various Vada Granthas and Prakarana Granthas, commentaries on these texts, from which we get the standard view of the different philosophies. The standard Advaita we study is the effect of all these high scholastic activities. The same way, the Dvaita, Advaita, all these things have come down to us in a standardized position, where standing in which situation we see a wide difference between all these things. Everybody seems to be an island, but it is not the case. So I need to elaborate some of the points where we have common consensus. The Brahman, the pramanas of Vedic Dharma or Hindu philosophy or Sanatana Dharma are the Vedas, Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, and Puranas, Pancharatras, Agamas. All these are our sources of knowledge, from which we can derive our philosophy. Even Acharyas derived their philosophy from these various texts. And all these various texts are based on the revelation of the great Acharyas, great Rishis. So we have some common consensus there. What is the nature of Brahman? Brahman is Satchidananda Swarupa. There is no debate in it. Brahman is Sat Swarupa, Brahman is Chit Swarupa, Brahman is the Ananda Swarupa. So you can call him by any name that you like, by Shiva, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Lakshmi, or whatever. He has so many forms and features. He is both male and female. He can have so many manifestations. So, Eko Devaha Sarvabhuteshu Gudha, Sarvavyapi Sarvabhutantaratma. He is everywhere. He is the Antaryami of the whole world. Yaha Apsu Tishtan, Apsu Antaraha, Yaha Vayo Tishtan, Vayoho Antaraha, Yaha Atmani Tishtan, Atmanaha Antaraha. He is there in all the material and immaterial things, or the Chaitana and Achaitana, sentient and insentient things. He is there, he is everywhere. He can have his manifestations even in the insentient things like tables, chairs, etc., etc. Everything, everywhere he is. So, understanding his presence each and in every thing is most important thing of the realization of Brahman. That is very difficult one. We see, we have some common notion. Vidyavane sampanne brahmane kavihastini. We have to see God in each and every human being or in the animals. Of course, we can see some kind of Chaitanya there. We can have the presence of Chaitanya, feel the Chaitanya, so we can see the Parabrahman there. But the seeing Parabrahman in all the insentient things is something very, very strange and very difficult understanding, but it is possible for the Mahatmas. Though people like us may not be able to get the realization of Brahman in all these things, but it is there. So this Brahman is not like humans. He is Nirguna, he is Nirakara. He does not have the Prakrata features, Prakrata Guna. There is a common agreement. Such a Brahman is the creator of the whole world. He is the person who makes us to have the samsara, and he gives us, he and he alone can give us liberation. There is no such contradiction or discussion, difference of opinion there. And when we come to the Prakriti is, it seems there is a difference. The Prakriti is the material cause of the whole world. We may call it by different names. Advaita Vedanta calls it by the name of Maya or Avidya. We may call it by Vasana. We may call by Niyati or Prakriti. So we can have so many names, but it is the same thing. And there is a high discussion in the standardized Advaita, it is whether it is Sadasad Vilakshana, different from both Sat and Asat. It is something of different category. But it is true. It is different from both Sat and Asat in one sense. It is not as permanent as the Brahman. It is not unreal as a Shashavishana, the horn of the rabbit. It is something, it is not unreal. It is both real and unreal. Unreal because it is not as same as the Brahman, Nirvikara, always Nirvikara. So in the sense it is called Sadasad Vilakshana. But it is there, and it is the working behind all the Prakriti and Srishti. So this is the nature of Maya or Avidya or Prakriti, from which we have all the whole material world. Because of the Prakriti and Purusha only this creation is possible. So this is one commonality among all the Vedantas. And in the case of Jiva, where Jiva is held to be in different position by different Vedantas, the Jiva is different from the Brahman. Jiva is identical with the Brahman. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, various positions are held. It seems there is a difference. But all these things, Acharya seen from different perspectives. The Jiva can be called Aham and Tvam, and even we can call Brahman as Aham. It is me, because he is residing in me. Antaryaminam ishesham apekshya aham tvam ityapi. Antaryami, it is in the sense of Antaryami that we can call Brahman myself, because he is in myself. This point is agreeable to all the Vedantas, because he is the Antaryami, he is the basic Chetana that is residing in each and every soul, Chetana and Achetana things. So even there is no such difference of opinion in all this Jiva also. The Upanishads, they are very clear about the Antaryami Tattva. The Chandogya Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, we have a big portion on the Antaryami Brahmana, Antaryami theory. The Yajnavalkya is asked to detail about the Antaryami, and he says this Brahman is everywhere. He is in the Panchabhutas, he is in the Atman, he is in the Prakriti, Mahatattva, Avyaktattva, everywhere he is there. He is there in the Prathavi, Antariksha and Akasha. Sarveshu bhuteshu tishthan. He is there in all the bhutas. What more we have to see? So, the Antaryami is our upasya. He has to be meditated. We have to feel the presence of this Antaryami. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanevanu sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tatona vijiguspate. Sarvani bhutani atmanevanu all the things are there in the Parabrahman, and Parabrahman is there in all the things. Both the ways, he is the Adhar of all the Chetana and Achetana things. So, there is no difficulty in understanding or difference of opinion in the structure of Parabrahman. And in the sense of this Antaryami, all the Vidyas are for the manifestation of the Parabrahman. It may be Vedas, it may be Puranas, it may be Agamas, or it may be other Shastras also, like mathematics, etc., etc. Everything for the manifestation of the God in one or other form. So, there is a Gati Samanya, as Acharya Badarayana says. Gati Samanya is the common theme among all the Pramanas, whatever Pramana we may count. Sarve Vedaha Yuktayaha Sapramanaha Brahmam Jnanam Paramam Tvekameva Prakashayante. It is the Madhvacharya what says. Sarve Vedaha Yuktaya Sapramanaha. There is no question that there is something else is being pointed out in the Upanishads, etc., etc. No. It is only Parabrahman that is known through all the Vedas and Upanishads, all the Pramanas, irrespective of their nature. All the Pramanas, they point out to the Parabrahman that we have to understand the Parabrahman from all these different perspectives. This is one Acharya, Madhvacharya says. And he used to show it. He wanted to take sannyasa, very tender age, 9, 10, but his parents were prohibiting, blocking his desire, that he was the only son to his parents, and they blocked. They were very strongly refusing to give consent to take sannyasa. And Madhvacharya is very much annoyed, and he sought the permission of God by prostrating to each and every insentient things. He was seeing the Parabrahman, Vishnu, in each and every insentient things. Land, the house, etc., door, etc., etc. Everywhere he used to see the God and prostrate before them. People asked them, what you are prostrating? He said, I am prostrating my own thing. That is the Vishnu. It was his answer, and it was his practice, seeing the Parabrahman everywhere. For Madhvacharya, Parabrahman is everywhere, Vishnu is everywhere. There is nothing else, nothing else, nothing else. So much of emphasis he has given on the understanding of the Parabrahman in each and every thing in the society. And there is one more agreement in all the acharyas about this samsara. What is this samsara? The samsara, it is there. It is the world, the practical world. We are going, we are coming, we are seeing, we are hearing all the things, and we are working, going to offices, etc., etc. We are doing all our worldly affairs. What is the nature of this worldly affairs? It is there. It is not the Paramartha. It is not the Paramartha in the sense, it is not going to give something to your Atman, it is your soul. We cannot avoid our work. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karmakrata. Nobody can be idle without doing works. So we have to do works. But at the same time, we have to feel the Parabrahman in all our worldly activities. So, the same things we do automatically or intentionally with some kind of involvement that will lead to the sakama karma. That is what Krishna says, mukta sangha samachara. You need to give up the involvement. Mate sangos tvakarmani, ma karma phala hetur bhuhu. You don't worry about the karma phala, you have to work. So when all these worldly activities, they are done with some kind of involvement, I am doing this thing and it should yield some of the results. If the results don't show up, then we will be angry, so many things will happen to us. So it seems there is a contradiction between the Trivarga and the moksha. Apparently, dharma, artha, kama, these are the one on one hand, moksha is another hand. For the persons who want to achieve the moksha, they have to give up all this dharma, artha, kama and they have to try for the moksha. And for the persons who try to get the moksha, they have to give up all these things. Dharma is also, it is considered in the Trivarga. But whereas, as Madhvacharya says and all the acharyas agree, there is no difference between the karma. The karma is the same, but if you do it with the involvement, it is the sakama karma that will lead you to the eternal samsara. But if it is done with the non-involvement or without involvement, the same thing will be your sadhana for the moksha. Nishkamam jnanapurvantu nivrittamiti kathyate. The karma, the worldly activities that we do without involvement, nishkamam jnanapurvantu, we should have the knowledge about the nature of the activity that we are doing. Nivrittamiti chochyate. Nishkama and jnanapurvaka karma, if that is done properly, that is nivritta karma. That nivritta karma, the activity is the same, but it becomes nivritta karma or pravritta karma on the way you are doing. If you do it without involvement, it is nivritta karma. Nivrittam sevamanastu brahmabhyeti sanatanam. So many examples of how the people used to perform the nivritta karma we have in our shastras, like the dharma vyadha, Kaushika Brahmana and dharma vyadha katha that we see in the Mahabharata. The dharma vyadha was a person who was simply selling the meat for the livelihood. And this Kaushika Brahmana, he was a highly learned person, but he had to seek the knowledge from the dharma vyadha, because dharma vyadha was doing his activities, doing his all the worldly affairs without involvement and with the knowledge and the courage to conviction that he has to perform this thing. Svavihita vritya bhaktya bhagavad aradhanam paramo dharma. This is what Madhvacharya says. It was his duty or the inherited livelihood for him. But he did not kill the animals. He only used to sell the animals. But still he was not touched with all these sins. But whereas if we see somebody else selling them meat, we think no, he is totally out of range for us. It is not the case. Even the very last person of the society, he can do the nivritta karma, he can have the path of liberation. The same with Jajali and the Tuladhara, where we have in the Mahabharata. All these cases remind us that path of liberation is open. It is easy for those persons who can dare to do it. So there is no conflict between the Purushartha also. all the acharyas, they agree on the nature of purusharthas and the commonality among all the 4 purusharthas. This is one thing I want to deliberate. And the last thing, I will finish my lecture in 2-3 minutes. The last thing about the upasya, this is where even Ramakrishna Paramahamsa comes into picture. What is the upasya? What is the nature of Brahman? How we can call him? Whether he is the male or female or Shiva, Vishnu, everything. But Vedic sages are very clear. Indram Mitram Varunam Agnimahu. Indram Mitram Varunam Agnimahu. He is the Indra, he is the Mitra, he is the Varuna. Atho Divya Sasuparano Garutman. He is the Suparna. He is Agni, he is Yama, he is Matarishva. Ekam Sadvipra Bhudha Vadanti Agnim Yamam Matarishva Namahu. The Rigveda, the Dirghatamas is the drashta of this mantra. It is the one key sentence of the whole Vedic literature, Sanatana Dharma, Ekam Sadvipraha Bodha Vadanti. There is only one power. There are no 2 powers. 2 powers spoil the game. One power, that power can be called by any name. You can call him by Vishnu, Narayana, Shiva, Rudra, or whatever. But the power is one. Even here, Shankaracharya, Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavanman Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabhaha. This is the Bhagavad Gita, where he says, Vasudeva Sarvamiti Yaha Evam Sarvatmanam Mam Narayanam Pratipadyate Saha Mahatma. He has various names. He is known by Narayana, Vishnu. The person who knows this Sarvagata Parabrahman by the name Narayana, he attains me. Such is the conviction of Shankaracharya also. Even Ramanujacharya's Upadesha is well known about the Vaishnavism. So, even in all the cases, we have basic consensus among all the 3 Vedantas. I hope people will be able to understand the truth standing on the voice of Rishis. Acharya's texts, they are the direction. They are showing the direction where we have to go. We have to go there and understand the basic truth. The truth will help us to attain the moksha. This is the way we can understand the Vedic Dharma. With these few points, I would like to conclude my small lectures. And my salutes to all the acharyas here and the audience here. Thanks again. Krishna Arpanamastu.
ఆచార్య నారాయణ పాండురంగ గారికి హృదయపూర్వక నమస్కారాలు. ద్వైత సిద్ధాంతాన్ని గురించి చక్కగా వివరించారు. అయితే ద్వైత అద్వైత విశిష్టాద్వైతాలన్నిటికీ కూడా వేదమే ప్రమాణం. వేదం ప్రమాణంగా ఉన్నవే ఇవన్నీ కూడా. అందుచేత వారు చక్కగా వివరించారు. వారికి మా హృదయపూర్వక ప్రణామాలు అర్పిస్తున్నాం. తర్వాత పద్మభూషణ్ ఈజ్ హోలీనెస్ త్రెడ్డండి చిన్నజీయర్ స్వామివారు వారి అనుగ్రహ భాషణాన్ని ఇస్తారు. వారికి ఏమీ ఇంట్రడక్షన్ అక్కర్లేదు. నేను అమెరికా వెళ్ళినప్పుడు వారిని 2 విష్ణు సహస్రనామాల్లో వారితో పార్టిసిపేట్ చేశాను. ఒకటి గ్రీన్స్బరోలో, రెండోది బోస్టన్లో. అందుచేత భద్రాచలంలో కూడా మరి నా 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 ఇది కూడా చెప్పుకోవాలి కాబట్టి నా స్వార్థం వికాస తరంగంలో నేను మా చక్రవర్తి గారితో వెళ్ళి ఈ స్లమ్ ఏరియాస్లో వాటిలో కూడా విద్యార్థులకి పాఠాలు చెప్పడం అది కూడా చేశాం. అందుచేత వారికి ఏమి ఇంట్రడక్షన్ అక్కర్లేదు. పద్మభూషణ్ చిన్నజీయర్ స్వామి వారిని వారి అనుగ్రహ భాషను ఇవ్వాల్సిందిగా విశిష్టాద్వైతాన్ని గురించి మన అందరికీ కూడా వివరించవలసిందిగా సవినయంగా ప్రార్థిస్తున్నాను.
ఆపదామపహర్తారం దాతారం సర్వసంపదాం లోకాభిరామం శ్రీరామం భూయో భూయో నమామ్యహం. యో నిత్యమచ్యుతపదాంబుజయుగ్మరుక్మా వ్యామోహతస్తదితరాణి తృణాయ మేనే అస్మద్గురోర్భగవతోస్య దయైకసింధోః రామానుజస్య చరణౌ శరణం ప్రపద్యే. జై శ్రీమన్నారాయణ. We are really privileged to be here on this auspicious occasion of celebrating the 125th anniversary of Sri Ramakrishna Mission. When the world is in need of dharma, when the Western world is not much exposed towards the Vedic culture, it is Sri Vivekananda Swami who spoke about the Vedic concepts and also about the truths that are embedded in the Vedic literature to the world of scholars. There is no doubt that Vedic concepts are known to the Western worlds as well, even before Vivekananda Swami. But they became more famous and many people came to understand by Pujya Sri Vivekananda Swamiji when he attended Chicago's meeting. From then on, of course, people in India also started learning about them. It's common practice, of course. Anything born here goes out, takes a stamping, comes back, and will be recognized by the local people. I think the same thing happened even with Srila Prabhupada Swami also. When he was here for longer times, nobody was able to understand the concept of bhakti, a devotion. But when he went to Boston, when he spent some time there, and when he was recognized by the people there, and when he became very, very famous there, and then when he came back to Bharat, then people started adoring him, following him. Poruginti pullakura ruchi. There is a common saying in Telugu, anything comes from outside tastes so better, always. Ramakrishna Mission did a lot in the society where there are elite who are seeking to understand the truths of the Vedic concepts. And we have to thank those great founders and those great the gurus who brought those concepts into the light from Beluru Mutt, and they propagated those things across the world. When we met with Bodhamayananda Swamiji very recently, and they informed us about this 125th anniversary celebrations here and asked us to speak something about Visishta Advaita, which is of course the need of the day. No? We have to talk about the Vedic concepts, not in terms of what school of thought that you are practicing, but we need to know the commonalities, as Pandurangeji said. We need to understand the common ideology of all the schools of thought, because the schools of thought what we have today are not actually took a shape to quarrel with each other. They are different ideologies to understand the truths. They are different approaches to reach the ultimate goal. We always say there are differences of opinions. They are not clashes. Differences of opinion is always accepted. Even in a family between wife and husband, between the children and the parents, there may be different types of opinions and ideas, right? Then they will have a debate, and then they come to an understanding, and they take the common points and they try to follow them. They won't quarrel with each other. Because my ideology and your ideology is different, we need not quarrel. You have to appreciate what is the greatness of my ideology and what is your ideology. We always say, when a student comes out from the 12th grade or intermediate, and then he has to choose certain topics like whether I have to go for law, engineering, medicine, or arts, or accounts, or whatever it is, then he chooses that. It doesn't mean that one subject is greater than the other. And it doesn't mean that one subject is lower than the other as well. It depends upon the taste of the person. As we have in Telugu, Jiffako ruchi, purreko buddhi. Tastes are different, thoughts are different, and our duty is, if we are having a sense of society, common society, and we need to understand the commonalities, whichever and wherever they are, and take them, but don't forget the roots. What are the roots for us, our Bharats? Rishis. Rishis, our ancestors. They had the vision. They had the intuition. They found the Vedic truths. And even they also said that, they did not say that I have discovered this, but they said, iti susruma purvesham, enas tadvyacha chakshire. We heard from our ancestors this way, and we understood this, and that's how they started communicating to their next generations, and it passed on from generation to generation. And then there were always debates and discussions, even during the period of Veda Vyasa. That means approximately 6,000 years before. There were always discussions, and there were always differences of opinions. If you read Brahma Sutras, even there are so many great sages had different types of opinions. It was then, during the period of Veda Vyasa, who invited all the great scholars of different schools and came to a common understanding, and then he presented the Brahma Sutras, small sutras. But during that time, probably that type of presentation was pretty much enough for them to understand. Of course, time passes and the ability of the man slowly decreases, the understanding capabilities have their own limitations, and then they needed a kind of commentaries. Then came, but we need to understand at every point of time in the history, there were always the people, or probably forces, what we call as the evil forces, who wanted to curb the Vedic knowledge. And even during that period also, there were forces which wanted to eliminate the Vedic culture from the face of the earth. Fortunate enough we are, the great Shankaracharya emerged as the first Acharya to speak about the Veda and Vedantic concepts. Though there were great Acharyas like Purva Mimamsakas, but now people will have their own abilities. It's not the question of how knowledgeable one is, but it's a question of how he is able to take the message to the masses. That matters. Knowledge was there even before Shankaracharya Swami, but it was very much limited to their own areas and to their own practices. And Shankaracharya Swami was the first Acharya who came out with Vedic concepts. And he wanted to say something to the world that we need to accept Vedas. And for that we need to accept one common or probably one ultimate reality called Brahma, Parabrahma. Before him, the people were not able to accept anything at all because they were always depending upon just their own logic. Whatever my mind says is the ultimate truth, finish. I don't believe in any pramana. My mind is only the pramana. That's it. How can your mind becomes pramana? How old are you? And what is your exposure with regard to the vast and very big universe? So you need to have some kind of authority to say that whether my thought is appropriate or not. But the people in those days were not in a position to accept any pramana other than their own thought, what we call as inference. It's called as anumana. So they only believed in that. Whatever I think with logical thinking, and that's all it is. But Shankaracharya Swamiji says, yes, even if you want to accept something, let us say that everything is just illusion because everything is temporary, everything is always in the state of a flux, and everything moves and nothing is permanent here. So all this is not permanent and hence it is not truth and it is illusionary and it is Maya. Shankaracharya said, it's okay, let us, for God's sake, let us accept it. But you say that everything is illusionary, you are illusion, I am illusion, everything is illusion, fine. But at least for illusion, you need a support. Yes or no? Somebody went to a well. In olden days, we used to have wells in our homes, right? Where we used to draw the water from the well and then use for our activities. And where we have no boring pumps in those days. So obviously we used to have a rope and then we have to draw the water with a bucket or with a pot. And they brought a new coir rope. And then they draw the water. After that, with a pot to draw the water, they have to make a knot. And then they made a knot, drew the water, and left it at the well site, and then the person left. Another person came there and saw something is there, because it was a new coir rope, and it, it twists like this. And because he made a knot, and then it just, was raised like this. And then the person, because it was probably the evening time, maybe, before the darkness spreads all over, what we call is the dusk. And then sun is not there, but darkness is also not there, and it is a twilight time. And when he came there, probably he may be having a little bit cataract also. So he was not able to see the stuff properly. And then he thought, because something is raising like that and is round and it is just something like that, and he thought it is a snake. It's a snake. The moment he thought it, he started, just scaring. And then he started crying, and then shivering, and then yelled, and then he just ran away from there, saying, "Oh, snake, snake, snake." See, it's not really a snake. It's a rope. Even for him to have a thought of a snake, he was in need of some base there. Some base is needed. Without base, how can he even think of a snake at all, right? He did not think of a snake somewhere outside, only there. Even at the well, he did not see the rings and thought of snake. Only by seeing the rope, he thought of a snake. Yes? A base is very much needed, even to have an illusionary thought also. Let us say whatever we thought may go later. But even for the thought, because you needed a base, let us say the whole world is not true, is Maya. But even to have a thought of Maya, because currently you are there, I am eating, you are also eating, I am drinking, you are also drinking, I am speaking, you are also hearing, and I am doing something else, and you are also doing something. There are many people are doing so many activities, and all these things are happening, whether they are illusionary or not, that's a different issue, but we are all there, no? To have all these illusionary stuff, you need a base like a wall. If there is a wall, you keep this photograph here. Tomorrow you may change the photograph, that's okay. You can't create a photograph here, just in the empty space. You need a base there. Accept that base first of all. The name of that base is, because it must be so big, because we are seeing so many big and bigger things here all around. And because that should be very, very big, and call it as a Brahma. Understand? It's a Brahma, so big. And that Brahma is true, accept it. Other things, yes, you say, they are Midhya. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Midhya. First come to that understanding, accepting one reality, and then rest of the things we will discuss later. Now, having accepted, see, even the person who never believes in any Veda or stuff like that, but this is also a logical stuff, isn't it? Because you are able to see the snake only on the rope, not on the ring, not on the frame, not on the ground, not elsewhere. That's the reason you need to accept a base. So that is what we said as Brahma, and one Brahma, okay? Now, having accepted a base is needed for any kind of thought or illusion. Now let's come back. There is a very, very time-tested scripture called Veda. People accept it. Why can't we too accept it? To that extent, let us accept it where it said that there is only one Brahma. Okay? Slowly, Shankaracharya Swami was able to convince those people who never believed in God's existence or the pramana other than their own inference. He was able to convince them to accept some base for illusion as a support logically, and whatever is logically established to support that logic, to support that ideology, wherever the Veda or the Vedantic scriptures accept the existence of one Brahma, let us accept that also, because you already accepted one support. Wherever there are mantras talking about the one existence or one reality, and take only that portion and let's not accept the rest of the mantras, or let us give some kind of different meaning to those mantras. People started accepting those to that extent where one reality is given. Ekameva advitiyam. Because it also says only ekameva, the eva also there, one alone. So, okay, because I have already accepted one support, I may accept that one alone mantra also as authority, no problem. Shankaracharya Swami, during his time, was able to convince people, or probably the so-called intellects of that time, to that extent to accept that Veda is also an authority. Veda is a pramana for us. Pramana means that leads us for understanding the real things. Right? Pramam nayati. So that also leads us to know the real things. So okay, let's accept to that extent. Veda, which was otherwise thrown out from the society for longer, probably centuries, was brought back into the society by the great Shankaracharya Swami during very short period of 32 years. Can you imagine a person in 32 was able to do that much? Now, having accepted one, then it became the responsibility of Shankaracharya. It became the duty of Ramanujacharya to talk more about that one reality. Reality is always one and one only. But how that one will be, this is probably the duty became to Ramanujacharya Swami. So let me say something to you. What is this? A flower. How many is this? See carefully and tell me. How many is this? If you go to the market, he takes only money for one flower. Isn't it? Now, let me pick up something from this. How many is this? Let me say something like this. How many it is? And ultimately, how many is this? This is what Ramanujacharya was talking about. In brief, what we call as Visishta Advaita. Understand? You said it is one only. Yes? It is one and one only. Good. And this is a different stuff. This is a different thing. And what is this beneath the flower? The stack. Is the stack and the flower are the same? Do you say this is only this also is the flower? I don't think that we say so. Right? This is the stem. And this is the flower. And if you turn this upside down, there is a base for this. Do you call this base as the stem? Or do you call this flower as the stem? Is the flower, stem, and the stack, do you think all these three are different or one? Answer please. One or different? If you go to a science student, he says, he never accepts that. You are able to see this very clearly. This is a different, this is in green color, and this is in a different color, and this is in a different color. The size is different, shape is different, and here above this the number is different. And how can you say that this is one? Stem is not the flower, petals are not the flower. Now, is the color the flower? Color and the flower are the same? Yes or no? Arey Baba, I am not talking any Vedanta. I am just a normal person asking you a normal question. Is the color and the flower is the same or not? If it is the same, the color you should not see anywhere else. But the bag I am seeing there is in same color. The color is different than the flower. Now, oh, it's cool. Is the touch and the flower are the same or different? And yeah, it carries 15 grams of weight. Is the weight and the flower are the same or different? Yes or no? I think that you are awakened. Huh? You are not in Supta Dasa. Look here. You call it one. It's 100% correct, and you are given 100 marks for that question. And I say, here are many things, and even you should give 100 marks to me too. Because the stack is different, the base is different, the petals are different, the color is different, the weight is different, the taste is different, and the touch is different. And the fragrance is also something different. What we call this, one qualified with many things in it. A flower is qualified with many things. And if you see in reality, this and the bottom are not at all the same. They are different. They are always different. This is different than this. This is different than this. Each petal is different than the other petal, and they never become one. That is Dvaita. True. That's also true. And it is one. Yes, that's also true. And this, now it became the responsibility of Ramanujacharya to bring all of them together and say, hey, you are correct, and you are also correct, my friend. And let us understand that this is unity in diversity. Our topic today. You call it is one Brahma. But that one Brahma is always with few things in him, inseparably connected to him. They are always inseparable, as you are. Take you as an example. You. How many are you? What is the confusing question? Swamiji, the question is wrong. Don't say that. How many are you? If you ask a pregnant, what does she say? How many are you? If she goes to a movie, the ticket, only one will be given to her. But if you go to a doctor, he says, hey, there is something else. There is a little baby in 7th year. Be careful. Then he gives some advices. Now, do you say that she is one or two? And after 2 months, the baby is delivered. And then she is carrying a baby and then going here and there, then they take half ticket. Arey, he was here and you took only one ticket for me? Only the inner stuff came out and you want another half ticket more? Why should I pay? Just a couple of days before, when some lady was in the bus, the bus conductor asked a ticket and said, why should I pay when our government came into existence? She said. So also, if the lady claims, yesterday, 2 months before I came by the same train and you took only one ticket, only the inner stuff came out and you want another half ticket more from me? Why should I pay? Can you give any logical answer for that? Why should she pay? And a couple of months before, why didn't she pay? I'll tell you. She did not pay before because the second stuff which was inside is inseparably with her. Inseparably is in the womb. So, she was not given another ticket. But now, the same baby is separated, having its own existence, its own entity, independently breathing, eating, and sounding. So, another half a ticket should be given to her. Otherwise, our DGP Garu is here to take care of them. My friends, one, when things are inseparably with them, they are counted as one only. God, whom we call as the Brahma, is one. That is Advaita, and he is always one only. Visishtadvaitam is not different than Advaita. It is Advaitam only. But a little bit deeper we need to see to understand the oneness of that Brahma is like you. You are one. Whenever you speak about yourself, you say, I am one. But remember, you are not one. Do you know how many cells are there in your body? How many? A minimum of 600 trillion cells are there in you. Trillion. 12 zeros after 1. 600 trillions of cells are there in you, in every person who is sitting here. Do you know that? Minimum. And each cell has its own individuality, its own brain, its own soul, its own life, If you are able to provide a life to that cell, then that cell takes a form like you. You understand what I said? But unfortunately, human beings are not able to give life to each of the cells. In billions and jillions, only one cell takes life. And that is what you call a son or a girl. Isn't it? But remember, each cell in your body, each cell is able to take a life of its own if you are able to provide that. Now, tell me, are you alone? Are you only one? But you are one. With so many trillions of lives with you, within you also. You are leading all of them. You are just like a pilot in the flight. You are taking the flight. You are responsible for all those trillions of lives. And if you are good, they are good. If you are not, they are not. So simple as that. If you do a good deed, they are all enjoying the fruit. And if some bad thing is done, if the pilot does something wrong, as all in the flight are affected, so also we. That is the reason, all our rishis, all our sages, and all our acharyas, and of course all the well-wishers of us always guide us to say, yuktahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapna avabodhasya. Are Baba, eat well. Don't stop eating. Eat well. Be modest in eating. Be modest in speaking. Be modest in doing. Be modest in sleeping. Be modest in every aspect of the life. That itself is the biggest yoga. That means you have achieved everything. You need not discuss about dharma, artha, kama or moksha, and they come on their own to your doorstep. This is what even Lord Krishna also spoke in Bhagavad Gita. You, one. Where are you? Can you tell me, please? Where are you? You are here, sir, in the body. We are in the body. We are confined to this body. We are not able to control the other body. Remember, we are here, confined to this body. And in this body, can you locate your existence? Not really. Because you, as an individual, are able to spread all over the body that is given to you. If it is an ant body, in that. If it is a mosquito body, in that. If it is an insect body, in that. If it is a small, tiny cell in that body, or if it is a big body like an elephant or a giraffe in that body, whichever the limit provided to that specific body, you are able to spread through your knowledge from that body, from top to the bottom, in all directions. Not only just spreading, and you are able to control each of the cells of your body too. But remember, your body is the cup, and you are in that, existing yourself, some part of that body, and able to control every cell of the body. Every cell of the body. I think probably our scientists say, if you knock out one gene from one cell, all cells immediately become the same. Like that specific gene will be knocked out from all the cells. You need not handle each of the cells. You understand? You need not knock out the specific cell from that gene from every cell. If you knock out a single gene from a single cell, which is here in the body, and all the trillions of cells adopt that, and they follow that rule. It's so interesting to understand that concept. My friends, this is for your body. So you have a body, you are with a body, having so many lives with you, and you yourself are able to command all of them. You are one. But remember, you are a qualified one. You are qualified with a body, you are qualified with so many lives with you, and you are one. You are not true. Advaitam only. But that Advaitam is a qualified one, I said, and in Sanskrit it is said qualified means Visishtam. Visishtam, not great. Now, in our languages, oh, he is a Visishta Atidhi. That means more respected, right? A step up. That is what we call a Visishta, means greatness. But in Sanskrit, Visishtam doesn't mean greatness. Visishtam is a qualified. As I showed you the flower, this one is qualified. This Pushpam is a Visishtam with a color. Visishtam with a stem. Visishtam with a touch. Visishtam with a weight. Visishtam with a taste. And Visishtam with so many petals, small and big in it. This is a Visishta Vastu. So this is Advaitam only. But this is Visishta Advaitam. Take anything in this universe. Anything in this universe, right from the atoms, everything is always qualified with something. If you take the atoms, there are Visishtams. They are Visishtam with electrons, and there are Visishtams with protons, and there are Visishtam with neutron, etc. So they are all Visishtam. That means qualified. Take a finger. How many is this? Big confusion. If you say many, then you say that correct the spectacles. This is also one, but qualified with a skin, qualified with steps, qualified with a bone in it, qualified with the flesh, with the blood, and with the nerves, and with the lymphs, and with so many other stuff, with a nail, and everything are here in this one. This is one qualified with many with it. Do you agree? Take anything in that sense. So Ramanujacharya Swami wants to say that everything in this universe is only one, that is Brahman. But that Brahma is always with the millions and millions of uncountable souls who are taking the forms like Sura, Nara, Tiryak and Sthavara. 4 types of things. All the souls will take the forms, and it is the Prakriti provides those facilities for them to take the bodies. But for the bodies and the souls, the inner controller is always Brahma. And there is no 2 Brahmas. As Swamiji rightly said, there should not be 2 Brahmas. If there are many Brahmas, there will be Star Wars. So, there are no Star Wars except in movies. So, Brahma is always one with the souls, just like cells in your body, and with a nature that takes different shapes, right from the universe till to the atom, or probably if you go still the lower parts of the atom, what's the called, the puria or something like that, which is the tiniest particle of the atom. This is one type of Visishtadvaitam, my friends. Another type of Visishtadvaitam also based on this ideology came out. Just I'd like to say that as our Chandogya Upanishad says as Tattvamasi. If you see this flower, probably it came from a small sapling that sowed in ground once upon a time. And when it was sowed, it is only just a small piece of stem that was sowed. And slowly it grew up. And when it grew up, it took different branches, and then the flowers emerged from each of those branches. And do you say that these flowers are newly created? Were they already there in the small stem, small sapling when it was sowed? What's that? Exactly. It was there in the small stem in the software form. It's programmed. The structure, what you see in the branches, the structure, what you see in the flowers, is already there in the small stem, but it's not seen there. Why? It is because in a very subtlest form, which is not to be manifested. Right? So that is in a micro form, which slowly took the macro form, then you are able to see that. Now, if you take a small tree like a banyan tree, take a small seed, break it, the Chandogya says, break it, you won't see anything in that. And you cannot say that there is nothing, because you are not able to see that. Your eyes are very poor in perceiving that. So you could not see that. Now, take a proper step so that the seed starts germination, and then the shoot and root starts, and then the stems and branches come, and then you can see so many fruits and flowers and the leaves and branches, etc. But remember, whatever you see in the big form as a tree with so many details, colors, shapes and tastes, etc., are all there very well programmed in the small seed as well. That's the reason they only come out. Otherwise, if you keep a banyan seed, you have to see the bulls. Or otherwise, you have to see the human guys coming out of that. No. Whatever the seed, only those things come out, because all the details you see in the form of a tree or something are already there in the form of the seed in the very subtler form. And what is called as Sukshma Avastha. The Sukshma Avastha becomes Sthula Avastha. So Sukshma and Sthula are not different, isn't it? Seed and tree, are they different? Yes, they are different in terms of time and shapes. They are not different with the quality. Yes? Because whatever the quality of the seed is the same quality as a tree. So tree and seed, as you see, are not different. But remember, even the seed is consistent of so many things in it. So also the tree is consisting many things in it. And a tree is a Visishta, seed is also a Visishta. And this Visishtam and thus Visishtam are not different at all. And seed, Karana, and tree as the Karya. This is cause, seed, and effect is the tree. Both are not different and both are the same. Visishtam is the cause and Visishtam is the effect. The only difference is time. That's it. That time is different, this time is different. You can't see the tree and the seed at the same time. Time of the seed is different, time of the tree is different. So, cause and effect are not different. That is also a Visishta, but one, Advaita. And tree also is Visishtam but one tree, Advaita. And the cause and effect, both are the same. Karana, Karya, Abheda. This is called Visishta Advaita. Karanam is a Visishtam, Karyam is a Visishtam. Both are not different, both are Advaitam only. Just like us. When I was in the mother, I was pretty small. And when I was in the father, still smaller. And now, the same I think, am here. And I'm not different than the cell. But then, many things are not in a manifesting form. Hair was not there, bones were not there, but in a different form, with a different name, in a different shape. And now they are able to be seen in a visible form. So, the world, what we see, is from invisible form to a visible form, and both are not different. Even then, it is one God taking care of all the souls, no matter who they are and where they are, and also taking care of the nature, the Prakriti, whichever is there, whether it is here or elsewhere, and He is the inner supporter and also external supporter. Inner supporter means Antaratma. External supporter is Sarvavyapi. That is the beautiful mantra, says Narayana. All these things, whether they are animated or inanimated stuff, sentient or non-sentient objects, are called Naras. Naras. Ra is perishable, Nara is imperishable, and there is plurality, right, for these things. Variety of plurality. If you take a tree, other than the water, other than the stone, but tree is not just one. There are banyan trees, banana trees, and coconut trees, and other fruit trees, and other flower trees, so many trees. And even among them, this is the mango season, isn't it? Mango season. And even if you take mango, they are different than other trees. And even among the mangoes, you know many varieties of mangoes, right? Cheraku rasalu, chinna rasalu, pedda rasalu, banganapilli rasalu, and so many other stuff are there. There are hundreds of varieties, and that is a plurality. So the plurality is having a plurality in it also. And to say that, the word becomes longer. Nara becomes Nara, according to the grammatical rules. And all these Naras are supported by one power called, that is Advaitam. Nara, Ayana. Ayana is a supporter. But the support will be in two ways. For some, if you take a car, the supporter of the car is in that. But if you take the glass of water, and the supporter to the water is not inside, is only outside. So there are few things from outside they support, few things support from inside, but the one whom we call as Brahma, he is supporting all these objects and the entire universe from within and also from outside. Ji? Coalition means mixing up with so many things. But he is having different abilities with him, because his abilities are innumerable. As I showed the flowers, qualities are innumerable. And of course, he is Nirguna, as our Veda mantra says. But Nirguna means not that not having qualities. Whenever we talk something, we start relating from our end only. When you start talking about compassion, you take a human person's compassion and start talking. And human person's compassions are always, having something expectation from others. But from him, his compassion is not like our compassion. And his daya is not like our daya. And his saulabhyam is not like our saulabhyam. His paratvam is not like our paratvam. So, he is not having qualities at all like as we possess. So, he is Nirguna. And he is Saguna because his qualities are just exclusively for him alone, and so he is Saguna. So he is Saguna, he is Nirguna. And he is Sarupa and Nirupa also. When you talk about the Rupa, you see your Rupa and start relating his Rupa. Like just 2 eyes and 2 ears and 32 teeth and 1 tongue and 2 hands, because you want him to be the greater personality, and you give him another 2 more hands, out of compassion. That's okay. But don't think that he's like you. That's why the Vedas said, of course, even our Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra say, Antakaram, Bhujagasayanam, Viswakaram, Gagana Sadarsam, Bhupado, Isyanavir, Vedasuranjas Chandra, Suryocha Netre. The entire universe is just his body, as he declared in Bhagavad Gita itself, that I have 2 forms as mine, Para and Apara. Para is Jiva, Apara is the nature. I am the controller of both. Both being inside and being outside. Being outside, he manages everything to be in their own respective places. Being inside, he drives them. Because the purpose of being inside is antar yami. Antah pravisya yamayati. That is the purpose of him. So he is Narayana. This is the mantra taken by even the great Shankaracharya Swami. Whenever he used to bless, chant, he used to say Narayana. That is the same mantra taken by even Ramanujacharya. So Advaitam is no compromise. What is the ultimate reality of the Vedas is Narayana. But that Narayana, one reality, is always with uncountable souls and illimitable nature. And both are as his body. Just like you see your body, we see the nature. You won't be able to see the cells, we won't be able to see the souls. And you cannot see the inner controller, so also we won't be able to see the Parabrahman. But one with many, and one in subtlest form to the big and huge and universal macro form, but always remains as one. So remember, as you look at your own body, it is having so many things. Legs are different, hands are different, teeth are different, tongue is different. Diversity. In your body, you have diversity. And every part does his own activity. Do you remember that? Have you ever seen that one part is stealing the show of the others? Very danger. Sometimes I saw some person's nose started quarreling with the mouth. And nose said, hey mouth, you are pretty selfish guy. Always you only eat everything, drink everything. We are all working. After all, I am giving the air to the entire body and supporting you in all respects. But not even a single drop of water is given to me. Not even a single grain is given to me. All you only eat it. Doctors became very compassionate and wanted to fulfill the need of the nose. Admitted him in the hospital. Put 2 pipes in the nostrils and started feeding through the nose. Is it good? Is it right? Is it the need? So look, every part has its own duty to render. Do it with no compromise. Confine to your activity. Respect other parts. Respect other parts. Don't stop your duty. Doing your duty is a karma. Respecting other parts is jnana. Then you can say that I love my body. Then your body is under your control. You love your body, right? So also God loves his body. And in his body there are devatas, natural forces. There are naras, manushyas, like us, in black, white, brown, so many colors. Manushyas. Shakti reacts in many, many forms. Those which, of course, move on the ground and space and water, and of course, non-moving entities. But all these things are his divine body, and he is God. And that God is even within you. He is present even within all of us. As our Swamiji said, the Pandurangiji Swamiji said, that, even in inert objects also he is present, making them as his body. So, love is very much needed. And that love happens when you feel that it is yours. The entire universe is ours. I think though parts of your body are different, but each part does his work and loves you, right? And so it works for you. They never declare independence. Then you will be in trouble. And if your hand says, no, I don't want to raise, do whatever you want. Then you go to a doctor and say, doctor, I am paralytic. Please support me. Then, of course, he gives some medicine. So also, everybody should do his own duty. Whatever the scriptures talked about us as our responsibilities in this universe, being a person, either in a family, in an office, in a society, or in a business organization, in any activity, do your duty as a part of the body. Understand that you are a part of the whole. Don't miss the whole for the sake of a part. At the same time, don't miss the part also for the sake of whole, because whole will never remain without the part. And the part cannot exist without the whole. This is what is the Visishta Advaita, which talks about there is a diversity you see in the body, but it is unity. It works with unity out of love and concern. I love my body. You love your body too, isn't it? You may not like other person's body. That's a different issue. At least to that extent, let us try to understand. I love my body so much, I think probably than anything else in the world. Anything else in the world. So also God loves his own body, the entire universe. And you are a part and I am a part too. We are all parts of the same God. Yes. And hence, we should do our duty and love others. We will say one slogan, of course, which we like always. Worship your own. Respect all. Whatever is yours, you worship that. But whatever is not yours, respect it. Don't worship. I worship my mom, but I respect your mother. I don't worship, but I respect. So also you. Whether you are a Vedic person or whether you are an atheist, I don't mind. Because these kinds of isms, what we call Vaishnavism, Saivism, Shaktiism, atheism, Jainism, Buddhism, all these isms are to evolve yourself with a kind of faith. But when you come into the society, we should all work together. We should all work together for the common cause of the society. That is what Ramakrishna Mission stands for. That is the reason why they called all the acharyas from different faiths. Why? Because each faith is needed for their own evolvement. But for the common cause of the society, we should always stand together for the benefit of the society. This is what is very much needed. And so I respect even an atheist if he believes in that. And so also he needs to respect me too. Because respect should be always vice versa, isn't it? It should not be only one way. So We need to respect them, they need to respect us. We both should respect the society in which we live and work for the common cause of the society. This is what Ramanujacharya Swami in those days, probably 1,000 years before, spoke. And probably he was the person first opened the doors of the temples even for the lowest, probably who was considered as untouchables in those days, whom started people calling in later years as Harijans, and now people calling them as Dalits. Even for them he opened the doors, and he said, you are also a part of God. Remember, we are all parts of God. Don't hesitate. Come. God is accessible to everyone, and even women need not be discriminated. They are also fit for chanting the name of the God and worshipping Him. He was the first person, gender equality and caste equality. When I say these things, Ramanuja eliminated the caste, people start talking. No. He said, every caste has its own role to play. Every sect has its own role to play. As different parts of the body, again, hand does its activity, teeth do their activities, also the tongue. They never bite each other. They never eliminate the difference. Don't eliminate the differences in the society. You can't, because you did not create them. So, follow the rule, respect everything in the society. What we say always, Sviya Aradhana, Sarva Adarana. Worship your own and respect all is the common slogan provided by Acharya Ramanuja Swami, and what the school of thought is called as Visishta Advaita. And I am very happy, the founder of, whether you call it a Dvaita or Advaita, Visishta Advaita, it comes from Advaita only anyway. But that is the foundation for everything. And the Advaita Ashram, which was started by the Mutt, and of course started talking about the Vedanta, the philosophies and the activities, and they're doing yeoman service in the society. Ramakrishna Mission in general is working in very, very wider areas with the society, motivating the youth, motivating the people with different skills and so many things. And we always pray to God to make all these great, the sadhus and acharyas, to be strong enough to spread the message of those acharyas and rishis to nook and corner of the world, and keep them all together always, to make a family of God. Let the Mother Earth be happy with all of us, the beloved children of her. God bless you all. And we are so grateful, Swamiji, the Atma Priyananda Swamiji, who came from Beluru, and just we were talking to him. No, we so far did not get the chance of visiting the Beluru Mutt. And we feel like, just visiting once and seeing the great services of the great people doing there. And I'm very grateful to Bodhmayananda Swamiji, who came with his team and gave a chance to us to be a part of you here during these 125th annual celebrations of the emergence of Ramakrishna Mutt. And once again, we are very, very happy and thankful. Jai Shriman Narayan.
చిన్నజీరి స్వామి వారికి మన రామకృష్ణ మఠం తరఫున ప్రణామాలు సమర్పిస్తున్నాం. చాలా సరళమైనటువంటి భాషలో అతి సామాన్యులకి కూడా అర్థమయ్యేటట్లుగా వారు విశిష్టాద్వైతాన్ని చక్కగా వివరించారు. దానికి అద్వైతమే బేస్ అని కూడా వారు చెప్పడం జరిగింది. వివేకానంద స్వామిని ఒకసారి అడిగారు, ఏమండి ఏమిటి విశిష్టాద్వైతం ఏంటి, అద్వైతం ఏంటి, ద్వైతం ఏమిటి, ఏమిటి మీ ఇన్ని విభాగాలు ఉన్నాయేంటి మీ దేశంలో అంటే ఆయన చెప్పారు, ఇవన్నీ కూడా వేరు వేరు స్టెప్స్ ఆయన ఫైనల్ స్టేజ్కి వెళ్ళడానికి. మరి ఇంతవరకు ఎవరు చెప్పలేదేమండి అని అన్నారు. అది చెప్పడానికే నేను వచ్చాను అన్నాడు ఆయన వివేకానంద స్వామి. వివేకానంద సాహిత్యం చదివిన వాళ్ళకి అందరికీ కూడా ఈ విషయం చక్కగా తెలిసి ఉంటుంది. అలాగే ఏకం సత్ బహుదా విదంతి విప్రాహ, ఉన్న సత్యం ఒకటే, దాన్ని ఏంటంటే వివిధ కోణాల్లో వివిధ వాళ్ళు దర్శిస్తారు. అదే పరమహంస గారు దానికి చక్కటి ఉదాహరణ చెప్పారు, మీకు అందరికీ తెలిసిందే. ఒక పిల్లవాడు మజ్జిగ తింటలేదుట. ఆ మజ్జిగ తినకపోతే తల్లి ఏం చేసిందంటే అందులో కొంచెం పసుపు వేసింది, కొంచెం ఉప్పు వేసింది, కొంచెం ఏదో ఆ కరివేపాకు కొత్తిమీర వేసింది, అది ఇచ్చింది. అప్పుడు అది వాడు తిన్నాడు. అలాగే అందరికీ ఒకటే సూట్ కాదు, ఎతోజన్ తోతో మత్ అని బెంగాలీలో ఆయన చెప్పడం జరిగింది. ఈ తర్వాత మనకి మరి ఒక విశిష్ట స్వామీజీ తత్వవిధానంద స్వామి వారు అద్వైతాన్ని గురించి మాట్లాడతారు. పూజ్య స్వామి తత్వవిధానంద సరస్వతి గారు అద్భుతమైన మేధా సంపత్తి కలిగి నాయకులు మరియు మార్గదర్శకులు. వారి జీవితాన్ని అద్వైత సిద్ధాంత ప్రచారానికి అంకితం చేసినటువంటి మహనీయులు. అంకిత భావంతో వారు అనేక ధ్యాన శిక్షణా తరగతులను మరియు ఆధ్యాత్మిక గ్రంథ బోధనా తరగతులు నిర్వహించారు. అనేకులకు ఆధ్యాత్మిక ప్రగతిని కలుగజేశారు. వారి సేవాభావము, నిష్కామ సేవాభావం వలన అనేక మంది ఆధ్యాత్మికంగా ఉన్నత స్థితికి కలుగజేశాయి. 13/3/1948 జన్మించిన స్వామి బాలమేధావి. చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి శాస్త్ర విజ్ఞాన సముపార్జనలో పాటు సాంప్రదాయ సంస్కృత సాహిత్యాన్ని ఆపోసన పట్టారు. వేదాధ్యయనం 10 సంవత్సరాల నుండే ప్రారంభించారు. తమ తండ్రి గారైన బ్రహ్మశ్రీ కొంపెల్ల సుబ్బరాయ శాస్త్రి గారి వద్ద సంస్కృత సాహిత్యాన్ని మరియు వ్యాకరణాన్ని అభ్యసించారు. బ్రహ్మశ్రీ కొంపెల్ల కామేశ్వర ఘనాపాటి వద్ద కృష్ణయజుర్వేదాన్ని 14 సంవత్సరాల్లో పూర్తి చేశారు. ప్రస్థానత్రయాన్ని తమ తండ్రి గారి వద్ద పూర్తి చేశారు. హైదరాబాద్ ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ నుండి 1985 సంవత్సరంలో తమ పిహెచ్డిలో బంగారు పథకాన్ని పొందారు. 1997లో తమ 49వ ఏట దివ్య ప్రేరణతో తమ గురువు గారైన హెచ్హెచ్ స్వామి దయానంద సరస్వతి గారి వద్ద నుంచి సన్యాస దీక్షను స్వీకరించారు. మూడు సంవత్సరములు ఆర్ష విద్యా గురుకులంలో వారు అద్వైత సిద్ధాంత అధ్యయనాన్ని సాగించి ప్రస్తుత సమాజానికి అద్వైత సిద్ధాంత ఆవశ్యకతను గురించి విస్తృతంగా ప్రచారం చేశారు. వేదాంతాన్ని అధ్యయనం చేసిన స్వామి బౌద్ధ మతాన్ని మరియు వేదాంతాన్ని సమన్వయపరిచారు. స్వామి తమ బోధనలో అనేక మందికి సాధకులకు మార్గదర్శనం చేస్తున్నారు. హెచ్హెచ్ దయానంద స్వామి గారిచే షేలోర్స్బర్గ్లో పెన్సిల్వేనియా స్థాపించబడిన ఆర్ష విద్యా గురుకులానికి స్వామివారు ఉపాధ్యక్షులుగా ఉన్నారు. సమకాలీన సమాజానికి ఆధ్యాత్మిక యొక్క ఆవశ్యకత గురించి బోధిస్తూ విశేష కృషి చేస్తున్నారు. వీరు వివేకానంద స్వామి వారి బోధనలతో ప్రేరేపితులై ఆది శంకరాచార్యుల వారి యొక్క ప్రస్థానత్రయం యొక్క వార్తికులు పండితుల యొక్క ప్రశంసలు పొందింది. సరళమైన వీరు తెలుగు ఆంగ్ల భాషా రచనల వల్ల లోతైన ఆధ్యాత్మిక విషయాలను కూడా పండిత పామరులకు రంజింపజేస్తున్నాయి. వీరి నిధి ధ్యానం అనే పుస్తకము ధ్యానము, శాంతి, ఆధ్యాత్మికత ప్రగతిపై సమకాలీన ఆధునిక సాధకులకు అద్భుతంగా మార్గదర్శనం చేస్తున్న అద్భుతమైన గ్రంథరాజం. వారి యొక్క 32 సంవత్సరముల యొక్క సాధన అనుభవ సారమే ఈ గ్రంథము. వారిని అద్వైత వేదాంతాన్ని గురించి వారి యొక్క అనుగ్రహ భాషణాన్ని ఇవ్వాల్సిందిగా సవినయంగా ప్రార్థిస్తాం.
సారీ ఫర్ ది బ్రేక్. గౌరవనీయులైన అంజనీ కుమార్ డీజీపీ సెలవు తీసుకుంటారు. స్టేజ్ మీద వచ్చే చిన్న మొమెంట్ కానుకని ఆయనకి స్వీకరించమని కోరుతున్నాను.
ఓం శ్రీ గణేశాయ నమః. శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. Shruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Atmaswarupa Bandhugana. It is a great privilege and joy for me to be a part of this tremendous, marvelous function, the 125th year of the starting of Ramakrishna Mission. My friend Shri Bodhamayananda Saraswati ji has called me and asked me to present Advaita in this function, the topic of Advaita. I asked him, what should I speak about? He said, you speak about Advaita. That is what he said. I said, okay, I will try to do that. So I cannot say no to him. Generally, I try to keep in a corner, not very much involved in public appearances. But still, I have to say yes to this function because it is so close to my heart. So I am here. And this gave me an opportunity to meet a very revered Sri Atma Priyananda ji, and also to meet Shri Padma Bhushana Bhushita, Sri Chinnajir Swami ji a second time. I met him one time earlier. Now it is a good fortune that I could meet him a second time, and of course I could meet Professor Pandurangi ji also. Now, I hope you still have some patience left in you to listen to what I am going to present. So I thought of speaking about Advaita. That is all I had in mind. So the Samanvaya and the reconciliation and all that, Sri Bodhamayananda ji will do it. That is his job. He told me like that. My job is to speak about Advaita. I have a feeling that by the time you understand what is Advaita, there is no need for reconciliation and all that. Because we present Advaita as Avirodham Nibodhata. That is how Gaudapadacharya says it. So, Advaita is Avirodha. It has no virodhis, it has no contradictions, it has no conflicts with any other things. So, first I will raise the question, what is Advaita? So, but then that is not the right question. Though it appears to be the right question for the occasion, strictly speaking, that is not the right approach to understand Advaita. So the right approach is, what is not Advaita? That is the right approach. You see the difference between the two? What is Advaita means you need not think. Somebody will tell and you follow it. You are waiting to be told to. When it is an approach of what is Advaita, everybody is waiting to be told to. But suppose I shift the focus from what is Advaita to what is not Advaita, then you are supposed to think. Now it is an occasion for you to think. You have to think. In understanding what is not Advaita, you have to think. So, my request to you, my appeal to you is, please learn to think. Don't always wait to be told to. So, what is not Advaita? Let me say, thank you very much. Thank you for your encouragement. So, let me say, Advaita is not a Vada. Vada means intellectual gymnastics. So, Nayamatma pravachanena labhyaha na medhayana bahuna shrutena. A great scholarship and ability to speak well and this oratory acumen and skill, this is the Vada, and intellectual gymnastics, this is the Vada. And you see a lot of it in post-Shankara literature. And that is not Advaita. Advaita is not a Vada, because Vada is a product of intellect. Of course, the intellect very refined and sharpened, and therefore the Vada comes out of such an intellect. And there is a Brahma Sutra which dismisses this sharpened intellect and its effect, Tarka Pratisthana. So Tarka, the acumen of intellect, It is not, it doesn't get established in one thing. Because you can give an example and make a proposition, and somebody else will give a different example and make a different proposition. So, nahi drushtantena vastu nirupyate. Drishtanta is not going to establish the vastu. Drishtanta is only there to help understand the vastu. Therefore, one should not be carried away by the drishtantas. Anyway, so Advaita is not a Vada. Then Advaita is not a religion. People should understand that. Because it is difficult to understand this part of it. Because what happened is, Advaita is brought to the level of religion. What is religion? Religion is a belief. That is the religion. So the Christians believe in one way, the Hindus believe in another way, and all of them, all of us, Hindus, Christians and others, we all consider ourselves as religious people. Now, why do you believe in a particular way? Did you ever think about it? Generally people believe without thinking. Thinking and belief don't go together. But let us start thinking. Why do we believe in a particular way? I believe in a particular way to put the marks in a horizontal way, and some other person or Swami believes in a different way that he puts the vertical marks. Why people believe differently? Do you know the reason? If I can tell you frankly, the reason is only because our parents believed that way, and our grandparents believed that way. And not only that, one more reason is also there. If you don't believe that way, the parents and particularly grandparents will rebuke you. That is the reason why we believe like that. And therefore, Advaita is not a belief. Let me tell you, the religion, which is a belief, the religion as belief, the religion could be exalted to a higher level, in which case it can be called true religion. But I am not talking of the true religion. I am talking of the religion of the masses. That religion, it divides people. You see, we may speak of reconciliation and all that, but the practices that we adopt, the way we live our life, etc., in spite of what all things that we say, that divides people. We segregate people. We do not take people as one Atma. Atma va idagum sarvam. We do not take it like that. So because belief divides people, belief brings enmity, division, and that is not Advaita. Therefore, Advaita is not a Vada, it is not a religion. I do not want to elaborate on this topic further, so you please think about it. Then what is Advaita? Advaita is a vision, darshanam. Darshaneshu sarveshu, darshaniyatamam darshanam. So Madhusudana Saraswati. So among all darshanas, the most beautiful darshanam. Darshanam is not belief. Darshanam is not tradition. Darshanam is not following. Darshanam is seeing. So Shankara says, Karatala malakavat. Like I put a fruit in your palm and you see the fruit. That is the darshanam. In fact, we want to call it darshanam rather than jnanam. In Gita also, Sri Krishna says quite often, Yah pashyati sapashyati, he says. He doesn't say, Yo janati sa janati. Yah pashyati sapashyati. So seeing, Advaita is an anubhava. So what you experience in your heart, that is Advaita. It is not what you believe in your head or what you speculate in your head. Because religions are mostly speculative in nature, so you speculate God in a particular way. So what you believe in head or what you speculate in head, that is not Advaita. Advaita is what you experience in the innermost heart. So that is Advaita. Advaita is Anubhava. Now, the word Advaita, if you notice it, it is a negative word. It is not a positive word. Dvaita is a positive word. Dvaita is correctly translated as the multiplicity and variety. That is what you see in the world. You look around, what you experience is multiplicity and variety. That multiplicity and variety, called multifarity or multifarious aspect of the universe, that is called Dvaita. That is Dvaita. Dvaita is not two. There is a mathematical axiom. You give me 2, I'll give you all numbers, all natural numbers. First number is 1, 1, 1, 1. Then somebody discovered 2. In mathematics, somebody discovered 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 is in the head. 2 is not outside. Outside there is 1 flower, 1 flower, 1 flower, 1 flower. There are no 2 flowers outside. They don't add up. Flowers add, don't add. Apples do not add. They add in the head only. Therefore, Advaita is adding of, you give me 1, 1 is there. You add 1 to it, and so you add in your head. 2, make it 2. Once you make it 2, the axiom says all natural numbers they come out of it. 1 plus 1 is 2, then 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4. That is how the multiplicity and the variety, that is what we experience in this world. This multiplicity and variety, is it real? That is the question. Now, what is real? We'll come to it. That is not important. Because you are real. Tattvamasi. You are real. Therefore, what is not real is important. The negative understanding is the highest understanding. So, this is Advaita. Negative understanding is the highest understanding. You see, suppose you know something about God in a positive way. What will you know about God in a positive way? How he dresses himself, how he decorates himself, so how he conducts. Is that what you want to know about God in a positive way? That becomes another guy. Not like that. So, you have to understand God in a negative way. Negative understanding is the highest understanding. This is philosophy. This is not religion. This is not belief system. This is philosophy. Religion and belief system divides. Philosophy unites. You hold on to the philosophy, that is enough as a uniting power. You hold on to the religion in spite of our protestations and our proclamations. There can never be real unity. We end up dilly-dallying between division versus unity. Whereas you understand the philosophy, you take it to your heart, you discover it in your heart, then the oneness comes without any proclamations, etc. Therefore, Advaita is the negative understanding. What is not God? Now, what about Atma? You see, there was a discussion in Brahma Sutra Bhashya. The discussion is about Brahma. Brahma Jijñasa, Athato Brahma Jijñasa. It is Jijñasadhikaranam. So, suddenly, the language shifts to Atma. Then Purvapakshi asks, oh, come on, we are supposed to discuss about Brahma. Why do you bring in Atma? Then Shankara says, Atma cha Brahma. From now on you understand. Atma is Brahma. Therefore, we are not talking of one item called Brahma and another item called Atma. Atma is Brahma. Therefore, negative understanding is the highest understanding. Negative understanding is the right understanding. Those of the people who are rather accustomed to or habituated to positive terms. So even in the world, they say positive understanding. But I am not taking a personality development class, okay? So maybe in a personality development class, positive understanding becomes relevant, but not in philosophy. In philosophy, it is negative understanding only. One Mahatma says, negation. So negation is the essence of Upanishadic teaching. Athata adesho netinetyatma. The Atma, you have the adeshaha upadeshaha. Athanataha put aside. Adeshaha upadeshaha. The instruction is in the form of negation. That is how you arrive at Atma. And what is Atma? Ashesha, Vishesha, Nishedha, Sheshaha, Atma. What remains as the residuum, if you will, after dismissing all superimpositions, the Namarupa superimpositions, which are the product of a human intellect, when all of them are dismissed, that means when the entire operation of the mind and intellect is put aside, what remains? The pure awareness absolute, that is the Atma. And this dismissal Okay, thank you very much. So, maybe I'll have a cup of water rather than a lot of class. Thank you for bearing with me. My time is 30 minutes.
They have to bear because Bhojana Prasadam is there after all this. Then real realization will be there.
Thank you, Swamiji, because you need some encouragement to remain. You need it, I assure you. So, therefore, the negation is the paramojvalam rupam nishethasya mandukyopanishadi drishyate. One Mahatma says, and he gives what is this Brahma or Atma, nantah prajnam. It begins like that. Nantah prajnam, na bahish prajnam, no bhayatah prajnam. I am not explaining. Only see the na part of it. Na, how many times the Swami utters na? You pay attention to that. Nantah prajnam, na bahih prajnam, no bhayatah prajnam, na prajnana ghanam, na prajnam, na prajnam. Prajnam is negated, aprajnam is also negated. So adrushyam, I is also na only. Avyavaharyam, agrahyam, alakshanam, achintyam, avyapadeshyam. Avyapadeshyam, you cannot say in so many words about the real, because in saying, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, if you talk about Brahma, Brahma jhota ho jata hai. He got the spirit of negation. Nobody else got the spirit of Brahma and Vedanta like Sri Ramakrishna. Brahma bolte bolte Brahma jhota ho jata hai. What the Shruti said, yato vacho nivartante. Sri Ramakrishna said in his unique style, so unenviable style, he said, Brahma jhota ho jata hai. So, avyapadeshyam, vyapadesha is aya idamitham bhavati. That is the vyapadesha. And avyapadeshyam ekatma prachayasaram prapanchopashamam. That is also negation. Prapanchopashamam. You see, Brahman is the transcendental reality. It is immanent in all the multifarious universe. Brahman is immanent, true. But it is not only immanent, it just doesn't stop there. If you stop there, it becomes a religion. Brahman is not immanent alone. It is antaryami, all right, but at the same time it is transcendental. So it transcends prapanchopashamam. In the Brahman, the reality, the prapancha, it doesn't exist at all. It abhavaha. It doesn't exist. And shantam, that's why it is called shantam. That's why it is shivam. Advaitam. That is the definition of Advaita. Chaturtham manyante. Chaturtha is the, really speaking, transcendental. 3, Jagrat Swapna Sushupti, or Vyavahara, and that upashamyati, that stops there, and now you rise into the transcendental, which is the Brahma, sa Atma. That Brahma is in you. That Brahma is you. I have a book with me, Swami Vivekananda's book. This book I keep nearby my chair in which I sit and take a class. And when I go to sleep, I keep near my pillow, because whenever I feel like opening a page and look one statement, feel inspired. You feel light in the heart. And so, he says, this is the Vakya of the Advaita, the essence of Advaita. You see, you have this just protestation or proclamation is not enough. You have to feel it in the heart. And Swami Vivekananda, he tells every soul is potentially divine. How can there be a conference of any kind without proclaiming that statement of Vivekananda? How can there be a conference of this kind? Every soul is potentially divine. The goal of all these conferences, the goal of all religions and religious practices, rituals, upasanas, etc., is to manifest this divinity within. So, the true religion is not really worshipping a god other than you. In fact, to tell you frankly, if you allow me to speak frankly, you'll be in for a big surprise, I tell you. So, if I have to tell you frankly, the God that you are worshipping outside of you as the other is not really other than your innermost self. You decorate that God with all that comes from your heart. That God is none other than your own innermost self. Unfortunately, you identify yourself with the body-mind and you take yourself to be the pramata and start as pramata using the available means of pramana, making a huge deal about pramana, pramata, etc. You start searching for the God. First and foremost, you assume and you decide it is the other than you. And God is other than you. You are a fit for nothing, a useless person. Aham, a limited person. Aham, papi, etc. And then you start worshipping. So, because you are so badly conditioned, you will not be able to realize that what you are worshipping outside of you, as though other than you, is indeed your own innermost self. Therefore, there cannot be a better word to point out the Brahman than Atma. So Vivekananda Swami says the goal is to manifest this divinity within. And by work, by worship, etc. So by one or more or all of these, this is the whole of religion. This is the religion. True religion. Doctrines, which are the product of head. Dogmas, which are the product of an ignorant mind which wants to believe rather than think. And rituals, rituals are designed or shaped by the desires and fears of the weak mind of the human mind, weak human mind. So, books, temples, forms are but secondary details. So, the primary focus, primary goal of human existence is to discover the divinity within. Samaha, Samatma, Sammita Samaha, Vishnu Sahasranama. So, Vishnu Sahasranama is not the Sahasranama of a theistic God. It is the Sahasranama of that immanent yet transcendent Brahman. Samatma, it is the same essence in you, in me. It is in all of us. This is not a kind of empty declaration from a stage. You are me and I am you. There is no myself, there is no yourself. There is only one self, the self of all. And it is not just saying it from the platform. You have to live it. Otherwise, it becomes a kind of a double life or a double standard, diplomacy. You have to live it. So, there is no friend, there is no foe. Why there is no friend? Why there is no foe? Samashatraucha mitrecha. Why there is no friend and there is no foe? Because the Atma in the friend and the Atma in the foe and the Atma in you is one and the same. That's why there is no friend and there is no foe. Not that so many other things are there. So, why should, in Bible says that you have to love your neighbor. Why should you love thy neighbor? Because thy neighbor happens to be yourself. He is not other than you. And so I am not tired of saying, this is not an empty proclamation. This is what you feel deep within your heart. And so I think I have slightly shifted the gear. I am coming back to the point. So Anubhava, it is Advaita is Anubhava. It is a negative understanding. What you are not, you have to understand. What God is not, you have to understand. What religion, true religion, what is true religion? I asked a Mahatma. He said that is not the question point. Suppose I tell you what is true religion, you become my follower. And I am following some system and you will be following the same thing. It becomes imitation. And what they call tradition is frozen thought. Therefore, that is not the point. The point is, what is not religion is the point. The negative understanding. The great Acharya Nagarjuna of the Buddha school, Madhyamika school, he presented the negation as fourfold. Not this, not that. neither this nor that, not this and not that. That is the Nagarjuna's proclamation and Shankara's negation and Upanishadic proclamation, Upanishadic negation. They all are parallel. There may be one or two small differences. So some people may like to say Shankara. They tell me, are you a Swami of Vedanta or are you a Swami of Buddhism? I said, I don't make a distinction. In fact, I am not a Swami. Then what are you? Aham Brahmasmi. That is what I am. This is the lion's roar. Be one with God. Aham Brahmasmi. You have any doubt about it? That is your problem. I do not have any doubt about it. I become convinced every day that every human being is divine. In no man or woman, however vile, does the divinity die. Only he or she does not know how to reach it and is waiting for the truth. Be still, Vivekananda, be still. Means, arey, baaton ko khatam kar do. So, anya vacho vimunchatha, atmanam evaikam janatha. You experience the true self. Anya vacho vimunchatha. So, that is Mundaka Upanishad. And Vivekananda Swami says, be still and know that you are God. Nothing less than that. Nothing less than that. Even an iota of separation, udaramantarang kurute athatasya bhayam bhavati, even an iota of separation. Suppose you are not God, God is the other. Then you remain where you are and God remains in his exalted position and God becomes an ever-standing source of threat to you. Any day he may become unhappy with you and he will push you down. So this threat, it is called a Damocles sword, if you know what I mean. Therefore, be still and know that you are God. In everyone is God, the Atman. All else is but a dream, an illusion. Therefore, Aham Brahmasmi. I want to remain within the confines of my time. So what is this Aham Brahmasmi? Aham Raja Asmi iti vatana. Aham Raja Asmi means I am what I am. And earlier I was not anointed as the king. Today I am anointed as king. So today I am Raja. Therefore I remain as Aham. Aham remains as Aham. Raja becomes a qualification to the Aham. Rajatva Vishishtaha Aham Asmi. This is Aham Raja Asmi. Aham Brahmasmi is not like that. What you call Aham is not real. What is Aham? You take yourself Aham as a limited person. So to explain this Aham Brahmasmi, I resort to a small anecdote of Sri Ramakrishna. Once a salt doll went to measure the depth of the ocean. This is the Aham. Aham is the salt doll. Small in size, made of salt, and went to find the depth of the ocean. So, it wanted to tell others how deep the water was. But this it could not do. For means because no sooner did it get into the water than it melted. Now, who was there to report the ocean's depth? That is Sri Ramakrishna. Therefore, there is a vakya like this, I don't remember. So, Pramata, the knower, Anveshanam karoti. Pramatrutva Vishishta san, Anveshanam karoti. He searches for the truth. And then the Pramatrutva itself vanishes. And only Brahma remains. So here, Aham Brahmasmi, it is not the oneness of Aham, the person, the individual, separate from Brahma. How can he be Brahma? How can he be Brahma? If I am Swami TV, how can I be Brahma? No, I cannot be Brahma as a Swami TV. The fact is, you all may consider me as a Swami TV, but I am not Swami TV, I know better than that. If you call me Swami TV, I may answer you. In the immigration counter, I may say, what is your name, Swami TV? I will say. I don't want to bother them with my full name also. That is the attitude that I have towards a name that goes with a form. There is no truth in Ramarupa. Name and form is a figment of, is a projection of the human mind. How can there be truth in the name and form? Therefore, the truth transcends the name and form. The truth doesn't carry the burden of name and form. It transcends the name and form. What you call gold, it has nothing ever to do with millions and millions of names and forms of the ornaments. And what you say gold is not a name. It is a name given to the nameless reality. You give a name Brahman to the nameless reality. Therefore, when you say Aham Brahmasmi, the small I, this little copywriting puny little I, me, not even I, me. If I say I, Ramana Maharshi will ask you to think twice. Therefore, I say me, the puny little copywriting, self-seeking, desiring, fearing me is not real. Aham na. That is badhaha. First you have to negate it. Without negating, there is no question of understanding the truth of the self. Aham na. Brahmasmi. Brahma alone is real. The entire Shastra is not about Brahma. The Shastra is about Aham. Because Asmi so proves that Aham is Uddeshya and Brahma is Vidheya. Therefore, Aham is not Aham. Aham is Brahma. What you thought serpent is not serpent. It is rope. What you think as serpent, it is not serpent. It is rope. Yes, sarpaha, sarajjuhu. What is serpent is not that badha is there. It is not that samanadhikaranya. Both words are present in the same case ending, vibhakti. That samanadhikaranya is not based on visheshana visheshya bhava. It is not that kind, nilo ghataha iti vatuna. It is not that kind of samanadhikaranya. It is badha samanadhikaranya. Yash choraha sasthanuhu. So, that kind of samanadhikaranya, it only means yaha choraha iti tvaya svikrutaha saha choro na saha sthanureva. Similarly, you in your ignorance take yourself to be a limited individual born and waiting for the death. That you are not. You understand yourself correctly, oh man. No, man doesn't mean gender. Oh man, know thyself and be liberated. So, you try to find what you are. You want to find the world. World is unreal. It is an appearance. It is like it is an illusion. It is like a movie. World experience is no different from movie experience. So what is there to find about the world? So you want to find out what kind of a snake it is? You want to find out what kind of serpent it is? You forget about it, because it is not a serpent. You need not find out what kind of serpent it is. So, therefore, what is there to find in the world? No, we want to find God. Now, the God that you find is a conceptual God. The God that is conceived by the human mind. And the God that human mind conceives shapes the God according to its own desires and fears and other idiosyncrasies. Therefore, that is not the real God. That is only a conceptual God. The real God is your own innermost self, the awareness absolute. That is the Satchidananda. We talk of Satchidananda as the Brahman. There is only one locus of Sat, which is Chit, and that is Atma. In this entire creation, there is no second thing which is at once Sat and Chit. There is only one thing which is at once Sat and Chit. And that one thing is Advaya Atma. You are the Atma. All divisions, sociological divisions, etc., are created by human mind in the form of different religions. Religions divide the people, so we have to rise above the religions of the masses and we have to travel into the true religion where you find your true nature, which includes all. Atma va idagum sarvam. I lost track of time, so now I will conclude my speech. Thank you, Swamiji, for your kindness. to invite me. And first and foremost, thank you very much. I thank you all for your patience. God bless you. That patience is divine. Please understand. Divine is not outside, above or below. The divine is in you. The patience in you is divine. The kindness in you is divine. Samatma sammitas samaha. You believe me, the God has constricted itself. The Godhead, Brahma, has constricted itself in you as the innermost reality, sammitaha. And he is samaha, he is samatma. That is the vision. This vision unites. Now you somehow dilly-dally and skirt this vision and make modifications to this vision, and you refuse to come to this vision for some personal considerations or whatever, in the name of tradition, religion, sect, cult, etc., you are doing an injustice to yourself. And you are dividing yourself not only from God, you are dividing yourself from the whole. Rise above all division and be the Advaya Atma, Advaya, divisionless Atma. That is the vision of Vedanta. And thank you all for your patience. God bless you.
మనం అందరం కూడా ఇప్పుడు దేనికోసం వేచి చూస్తున్నామో మనకందరికీ తెలిసిందే. పూర్తిగా దేహభావం వచ్చేసింది, నీరసం వచ్చేస్తుంది. అందుచేత అద్వైతంలోంచి దేహభావంలోకి వచ్చాం. ఇప్పుడు మనకి బేలూరు మఠం నుంచి పూజ్య స్వామి ఆత్మ ప్రియానంద గారు వచ్చారు. వీరిని చూస్తుంటే నాకు జ్ఞానదానంద గుర్తుకొస్తున్నారు. న్యూక్లియర్ ఫిజిక్స్ హెడ్ ఆఫ్ ది డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆంధ్ర యూనివర్సిటీ చేశారు. నెహ్రూ గారు ఆయన కోసం అక్కడ యూజీసీకి చెప్పి క్రియేట్ చేశారు. అటువంటి మహానుభావులు వారు. నేను అది ఒక్క మాటే చెప్తున్నాను. ఏం చేద్దంటే స్వామి జ్ఞానానంద కాదండి, జ్ఞానానంద ఈజ్ ఫ్రమ్ వెస్ట్ గోదావరి, భీమవరం, గొరగనమూడి అని అక్కడ ఆయన హిమాలయాస్లోకి వెళ్ళి తపస్సు చేసి తర్వాత జర్మనీ వెళ్ళి న్యూక్లియర్ ఫిజిక్స్లో పిహెచ్డీ చేసి అప్పుడు నెహ్రూ గారు ఆయన్ని ఆంధ్ర యూనివర్సిటీకి తీసుకొచ్చి యూజీసీతో చెప్పి ఆ న్యూక్లియర్ ఫిజిక్స్ అన్ని క్వాలిఫికేషన్స్ వీరికి ఉన్నాయి. చెబితే మీరు ఇప్పుడు నా మీద కోపడతారు. అందుచేత వారిని ఫైనల్గా వారి సందేశాన్ని ఇచ్చుకోవాలి.
ॐ यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तंहदेवम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये. निष्कलं निष्क्रियं शान्तं निरवध्यं निरञ्जनम् अमृतस्य परं सेतुं दग्धेन्धनमिवानलम्. ॐ सतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय. आविराविर्मयेधिरुद्रयत्ते दक्षिणं मुखं तेन मां पाहि नित्यम्. ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. ॐ शक्तिसमुद्रसमुत्थतरङ्गं दर्शितप्रेमविजृम्भितरङ्गं संशयराक्षसनाशमहास्त्रं यामि गुरुं शरणं भववैद्यम्. अद्वयतत्त्वसमाहितचित्तं प्रोज्ज्वलभक्तिपटावृतवृत्तं कर्मकलेवरमद्भुतचेष्टं यामि गुरुं शरणं भववैद्यं. नरदेवदेव जय जय नरदेव. My very respectful salutations to all the Mahatmas present here, and I have the fortune and the misfortune of being the last speaker. Fortune because whatever I wanted to say has been already said. There's a joke about a speaker who said, "What more can I say? It has been already said." He went on saying that. One from the audience said, "Then sit down." And misfortune because I am standing between you and your Bhojanu Prasad. So we want bhajan in Bengali. Bha is pronounced as bho. So somebody said, "Do you have bhojan? Do you have bhojan? Are you saying bhojan or are you saying bhajan?" And Sri Ramakrishna was a very practical person, as you know. apart from all the philosophy and experience, he said, in Bengali, he said, Khali pete dharma hoy na. In an empty stomach, there can be no religion, no philosophy, no Advaita. All the religions and philosophy will fly away when you are hungry. So he said, first take care of your Annamaya. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, all of them should be equally fed. Only when you have a strong body and mind can you practice religion. Now, the rope and the snake is the standard thing in Advaita. It's a small joke, just to keep you awake. What is the most important responsibility of a speaker? To keep the audience awake. So now you are all very hungry. A gentleman from the West, maybe England, Europe, or maybe USA, came and studied Vedanta for a couple of years in India, Advaita Vedanta, went back and said, I have understood Advaita. What is that? You see, there is a rope in which a snake has entered. And the whole effort in Advaita is to somehow drive away that snake. The problem with such examples is, we take very grossly, as our Paramapujya G.R. Swamiji so beautifully and humorously illustrated, you have to go from your own experience. What the great Acharyas did, as our Tattvavedanji very fine, beautifully said, it is not religion, it is not philosophy. Then what is it? It is a simple analysis of your daily experience. Watch this sentence. Upanishads are simply a document of an analysis of your daily experience. Because a human being always thinks. He has to think. There's a compulsion of his brain to go on thinking about what he is trying to do. Even as a child, we ask very funny questions of our parents, of our teachers. And the teachers and parents have a very interesting way of trying to silence you. When you grow up, you will know all that. Don't ask such questions. When you grow up, they'll say, have you not studied it earlier? So finally the question remains unanswered. It's not what I said. Einstein said this. Albert Einstein was asked, how did you discover the great theory of relativity? He said, very simple. When we are children, we ask very simple questions, uncomfortable questions to our parents and teachers. Afterwards, when we grow up, when we are educated, quote unquote, we intelligently forget those questions. In my case, I did not forget them. Whole of philosophy or religion or Vedanta, Advaita, everything is only asking direct, simple questions of your daily life and experience. I am sitting here, I am seeing all of you. All of you are hopefully awake. This is called Jagrata Avastha. Then when you go to sleep, your experience of the Jagrata is completely negated in dreams. When you go to deep sleep, nothing exists. I say, I dreamt. I say, I slept. I did not know anything. Which was the I? Is the same I? Simple question. You can say I1, I2, I3. The I1 is seeing now all of you. The I2 dreams that this conference has been got up, and I3 does not know anything. But there is one I which remembers the I1, I2, I3 experience. What is that I? Simple question. Then they went deeper and deeper and found there should be something behind the I1, I2, I3 which are only temporary and transient. And what is that I? Inquire into this. Vedanta, be it any Dvaita, Vasishtha, Advaita, Advaita, Vedanta is only an inquiry. That is the difference between Vedanta and Yoga. Yoga Anushasanam, Matha Yoga Anushasanam. Anushasanam is protocol. You know, the 21st of June is coming very soon. Common yoga protocol. Stand still. Raise your right hand. Turn right. These are protocols. That's why yoga has become extremely popular in the West, because they want to do something. Vedanta says, what do you have to do? Do nothing. Do nothing? What should I do to do nothing? Because the human mind cannot understand just being. Ramana Maharshi's famous statement, சும்மா இரு. சும்மா இருக்கிறதுக்கு என்ன எப்படி பண்ணணும், எப்படி இருக்கணும் சும்மா இருக்கிறதுக்கு? That means your real nature is that you have to just be. That's also very scientific. Our ancient rishis were great generalizers. You take a thing and then go on generalizing, just in science. Newton saw an apple fall. He did not think as an isolated incident of an object falling. He inquired deeply and found out this is a part of a larger law. Went on generalizing and found the law of gravitation. Swami Vivekananda says, the law of generalization is something which is remarkable in the Indian mind and the minds of the rishis. And we are also the descendants of those great rishis. The rishis said, you generalize all experience. We are all sitting here. Most of you are from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, in the southern part of India. So each one is different, wearing different dresses, speaking different ways, eating differently, etc. How do you generalize this? You generalize by saying all of us are human beings. You may be from any part of India, any part of the world, we are human beings. One generalization. Then a small cat or a dog peeps in and says, what about me? Oh, you are here. Let's say living beings. Then the microphone at this table comes and tells me, am I left out? No, you can't be left out. So what should you do? Being. Being is the most general form in which you experience all that exists. Existence. Now, existence, how do you know existence? Does the world come and tell you I exist? But I say that the world exists. That means the consciousness has to be present to certify to the existence of the world. I'll give you a simple example. In Beluru Math, where I live, on special occasions there's a huge crowd. 100,000 people come. Constantly announcement is being made. Prashun Mukherjee, your wife is standing here in the inquiry counter. Where are you? Please report. Continuously, people are lost. People not to be found. And that fellow comes here. Now, Act 1, Scene 1. You're just about to go for a conference. It's already late. And you can't find a very important document. And you shout at everybody, which we normally do, because we blame everybody for our lapse. Where is the document? I kept it here. You kept it somewhere else? I didn't keep it anywhere. After Sunday, I opened the drawer and found the document is there. Act 1, Scene 1. Remember this. Act 1, Scene 2. Continuously you are being asked. The mother comes to a small boy. The boy simply slips away. And the mother is shouting, hey, Kokon, where did he go? The boy says, I'm here. What is the difference? The document in the drawer did not say, why are you shouting, I'm here? But the boy said, I'm here. What is the difference? Consciousness can announce itself. But that which is unconscious cannot announce itself. Announcing itself is called in Vedanta as Swayam Prakashatva. It just can reveal itself without anybody else. It doesn't require anything else apart from itself to reveal itself. So this is called Chit. Sat is existence, and awareness of existence is bliss. So the highest truth is called Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa. Now what is the nature of truth? The Upanishad, the Rishis asked a very simple question. The Kena Upanishad, for example, asked a very naive question. When I open the eyes, how is it that I see? The ears, how is it that the ears listen? How is it the mind thinks? Is it the ears that see? Is it the ear that listens? Is it the mind which thinks? Or is there something else behind all this? Keneshitam patati preshitam manah, kena prana pratama praiti yuktah, keneshitam vachamimam vadanti chakshushrotram kavudevo yunakti. Then they inquired and found out, oh, it is not the ear that hears, it is not the eye which sees, it is not the mind which thinks. Behind the mind, there is an eye of the eye, there is the ear of the ear, shrotrasya shrotram, manaso mano yad vachoha vacham savu pranasya prana. Very simple discovery. It is not anything to do with religion or philosophy or metaphysics. It is just asking a simple question about life. King Karanam Brahma Kutasmajata Kenama Jiva, etc. The Shvetashvara Upanishads. What are we? Where did we come from? Where did we go? Suppose you say these questions need not be asked now. You are too young to ask these questions. Ask these questions when you become old. So finally we say, Vedanta is for people whose teeth has fallen. Vedanta. So don't ask such questions. But human beings have to ask these questions. Reality comes in so many forms. Why is it so many varieties of reality? There is only one. This question was asked of Shankara by Ramanuja. If there is only one, why is it that all this differentiation, where does it come up? The Shankara's guru's guru, his grand guru, Gaudapada was very clever. He said, which world are you talking about? Sir, this world, I don't say anything. Simply dismiss the existence of the world at all, completely. That's called Ajatavada. It never was born. Even when the world is there, then only you can eliminate it. You should eliminate the samsara to attain Brahman. Prapancho yadi vidyeta nivarteta na samshaya. If Prapancha existed at all, of course it will go by knowledge. It doesn't exist. There is an extreme position. Shankara was more compassionate. Shankara said, no, it exists but doesn't exist. It exists relatively, but can I not take all this to be true? Suppose I go and take food. The food which I am taking, is it a real food or is it a mic food? No, it is a real food. Then he divided reality into two, Paramartha and Vyavahara. In Vyavahara, it is all true, but ultimately it is unreal. So somebody comes and asks a question. In Vyavahara, I always tell lies. In Paramartha, I am absolutely truthful. This became a problem, serious problem. Nagarjuna and Shankara had such extraordinary geniuses. They taught, slowly degeneration comes in. Kamodbhavat sadirkhena kalena anushtatrinam kamodbhavat, Shankara says in the Bhashya, Gita Bhashya, Sakalene hamata yogo nashta parantapa. Human being, individual selfishness and desires, immediately the high truths are brought down. Then Shankara had to explain, although he had no desire to explain the word. Remember, Shankara wanted to explain only Brahman and said, as was beautifully explained by our the previous speaker, Swamiji Tattvavedanandaji, Shankara's only thing was not Brahman, but Brahman realizable as the Atman. Always he will say Atma Brahma Aikya Jnana. Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Ididam Upasate. I am not talking about the Upasya Brahman, which is apart from you. I am talking about the Geya Brahman, which is realizable as your own inner self. That was his focus. But people went on pestering him. Then what about this world? What do you see all this? The many, how did it happen? The whole problem of philosophy, everywhere, Eastern and Western, how did the one become the many? If the one is the only true Advaya Brahman, Ekemeva Advitiyam, how is it I see so many? Advaita Vedanta tries to solve the problem, again gets into trouble, because of Ajnana. Oh, Ajnana. Are you satisfied? Some explanation is given to you, oh, because of Ajnana. Oh, all right. Then somebody comes and says, what is Ajnana? Advaita says that, I don't really know, but Ajnana is responsible. The definition of Ajnana is so peculiar. It's called Bhavarupa. If Ajnana is negative, then how is it Bhavarupa, you say? Then finally, the definition given is something. Don't ask me. Something. Yat kinchid bhava rupam. Yat kinchid is something. Now, if Ajnana cannot be explained, where is Ajnana? What is the locus? Then Ramanuja came, and the Saptavida Anupapatti, in the Mahapurva Paksha of the Sri Bhashya of the Brahma Sutra, he says 7 kinds of objections against Advaita. Whole thing is focused on Ajnana. What is Ajnana? Where is it? What is the locus of Ajnana? Is it in Jiva or is it in Brahman? It can't be in Brahman because Brahman is Jnana Swarupa. It can't be in the Jiva because Jiva is a product of Ajnana. It is just like a child went to the mother and said, "Oh, you never called me for your marriage." You are a product of the marriage. So where is the Ajnana? This became a serious problem, as another speaker mentioned just now. Later Advaitins, post-Shankarite Advaitins, left Brahman, Atman, everything was left out, and they focused only on Ajnana. Ajnana, Tula Ajnana, and Shamashti Ajnana, Vaishti Ajnana, went on writing books after books on Ajnana and Maya. Finally, the Dvaitins were constantly attacking him. That is a very dark period in Swami Vivekananda says. Khandana Mandana. He will write a book, Shata Dushani. 100 scoldings I will give you. Then he will get Shata Bhushani and so on. Then they said Ajnana has to be established somehow. Everybody forgot about Brahman. Now Ajnana became so important. The Dvaitins finally won. Jayatirtha and Vyasatirtha and others. Then from Bengal came Madhusudana Saraswati. Bengal is very argumentative, as you know. They were Navya Nyaya. This Nyaya is not enough. I will find out a new kind of Nyaya so that this Dvaitin should be now. I will thrash them completely. It goes on and on. Then Sri Ramakrishna came and said, "Why are you shouting? What is the problem now?" "Sir, Ajnana is the problem. You are in Ajnana, I am also in Ajnana. If you go beyond Ajnana, there is no problem at all. As long as in Ajnana, you cannot explain Ajnana. So don't quarrel." So what he said was, "Why don't you say many and the one can be true at the same time?" "Oh, how is it possible? Either this is true or that is true." Immediately after came 1900, a theory called quantum theory. Max Planck said light consists of quanta, not only waves. It's like particles moving, like bullets moving. Is that the nature of light? Yes. Experimentally, photoelectric effect you can actually find out. But light also behaves as waves. Light behaves like waves. Light is also a particle. Then another physicist came in, Dubreuil. He said, if radiation can have dual characteristic of particle and wave, why not a particle have matter have dual characteristics of particle and wave? Because matter and radiation are just the two things, the whole universe. The entire universe, according to science, consists of matter and wave. Now, why can't matter also have wave nature? He gave the idea of wave-particle dualism called matter wave. That completely revolutionized, that once again came from the insight that nature is symmetric. Nature loves beauty. Beauty and symmetry always go together. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, Shantam, that is the nature. Now, this has to be, because of the symmetry of nature, radiation, if it has particle characteristics, a particle should have radiation characteristics. Wave-particle dualism idea came in, that became established because of experiments. Now, how do you say that the same entity can be both a particle and a wave? Then emerged Schrödinger, Heisenberg, Dirac, and so on. Schrödinger's Nobel lecture is a very remarkable lecture. There he mentioned a very beautiful point there. What has wave mechanics done? What has quantum mechanics done? What it has done is to replace the paradigm of either or by the paradigm both and. You don't say either this or that. Either Advaita is real or Advaita is. If that is real, that can't be real. This is true, that can't be true. Why can't you accept that all of them are simultaneously true? How can same truths appear in so many forms? Here Ramakrishna gives simple parables. Once again, it's come to Jaina philosophy, Anekantavada and the Syadvada. Syadvada means maybe. Maybe. That is the basis of statistics and probability, as P.C. Mahalanobis has shown. So how is it that the same entity can appear as both? Sri Ramakrishna gives a beautiful parable. Several blind people went to see the elephant. A person touched the trunk, the leg of the elephant, so it is a huge pillar. Another person went and touched the ear, it said like a fan. Another person went the tusk and said it is like a pipe. They were all quarreling. Then another person with eyesight, he came, why are you quarreling? Sir, elephant is like a pipe, is it correct? Yes, you are right. No, sir, it is like a fan. I touched and saw. You are also right. Then that's because you took only a part of the reality. The reality cannot be completely known unless you become the reality. It's a very important point in the whole of Vedanta. So there is a knowing as an object. The other is knowing by becoming. The salted all example which Tattvajanji was interestingly explaining to you. Sri Ramakrishna says, the salt doll went to measure the depths of the elephant and completely melted away. Now, there is a serious problem there. Who will come and explain? Then what about all the acharyas? What about the incarnations of God? What about Sri Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita? What about Jesus? And what about the great acharyas who have revealed to the world the truth about God? If they had melted away, they could not have come back. If they did not melt, they have not realized God. This is a very big question which is asked in Advaita Vedanta. There are certain people called Jivan Muktas. Shankara admits it. Interestingly, I've heard Ramanuja does not admit of Jivan Muktas here, only Videka Muktas, and Madhva accepts Jivan Muktas. This is what I've heard. Who are the Jivan Muktas? They have found freedom. They have realized, I am the Atman, I am the infinite self. I am free from the bondage of the world. They alone are fit to teach mankind. Incarnations of God, avatars, Ishvara Kotis, and Adhikarika Purushas as the Brahma Sutras. Now the serious question is, if they have realized God, realized Brahman, the ultimate reality, they must have merged with Brahman, Brahma Veda, Brahma Iva Bhavati, Mundakopanishad. Is the Shruti not true? If they merged with Brahman, how did they come back? If they did not come back, how can we know the world? The question is, Shastra Anarthika Prasanga. Shastras will become totally meaningless unless you accept that those who taught the Shastras have themselves realized the truth of the Shastras. So here you have to accept necessarily that there is a class of people who, although merging in Brahman, completely melting away in Brahman, realizing Brahman, knowing Brahman by becoming Brahman, in a mysterious way they again come back. Shankara doesn't have a good explanation to say how the Jivan Mukta thrives, even after realization. The example that Advaita gives is like an arrow which is shot, the prarabdha karma is responsible. So easy under the spell of prarabdha karma, questions are asked. Shiyante chasya karmani. Then Shankara will say, karmani, in bracket, except prarabdha karma. It is not supported by the Shruti. But he had to do it because you can't explain Jivan Mukti. Now the Jivan Muktas are those who have realized, but some who come back. Sri Ramakrishna comes in and says, why don't you say, rather than saying prarabdha karma, the will of the Divine Mother Shakti. Here Shakti comes in. Shankara did not initially accept Shakti. There are stories he finally had to accept Shakti. And there are passages, even in his own bhashyas. Brahmano hi pratisthaham amritasya abhyasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya kantikasya cha. 14th chapter, last verse of the Gita. There, Shankara is in trouble. Brahmano hi pratishtha aham. Bhagavan says, I am the pratishtha of Brahman. How can that be true? Then Shankara says, aham means nirvikalpa, Brahman is savikalpa, etc. He has his own explanation. But there's a remarkable sentence in that bhashya. Yaya Ishvara Shaktya Brahma Pradishthate Pravartate Bhakta Anugrahadi Prayojanaya Sa Shaktihi Brahma Eva Aham Shakti Shakti Mato Ananyatvat. Shakti and Shaktiman are not different. So Brahman and the Shakti of Brahman are non-different. Exactly what Sri Ramakrishna said, Brahma Shakti Obhed. So Sri Ramakrishna says there is a class of beings who by the will of the Divine Mother have their egos restored as it were even after realization. But that is not the old ego, a refined, purified, divine ego, which Ramakrishna in Bengali call Pakami. Pakami is ripe ego, not the unripe ego which says I, my wife, my children, that selfish I, that puny I, but the divine I which has been restored to him by the Divine Mother because of her will. And that person constantly lives in a state of mind and consciousness in which he can have access both to the transcendent as well as the immanent. This is the secret. He remains on the threshold of being and becoming. It's called, Ramakrishna calls it Bhava Mukha. He was commanded by the Divine Mother Kali 3 times, once from his own heart, another, the Hiranyagarbha came in the form of a bearded sage and told him, remain in Bhava Mukha. Thirdly, Divine Mother also told him, remain in Bhava Mukha. Tu Bhava Mukhe thak, tu Bhava Mukhe thak, tu Bhava Mukhe thak. What is that Bhava Mukha? After merging into the infinite, becoming one, Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati, salt and all, completely merging and melting away in that ocean of the infinite Brahman, again coming back as it were, remaining as the child of Mother. It is possible, and he says incarnations of God, Ishvara Kotis, specially commissioned to people, Adhikarika Purushas, remain in the state of Bhava Mukha. This he describes as Vijnana. A Jnani is a person who has not realized Brahman. He is Agya. A Jnani is a person who has realized Brahman. A Vijnani is a person who, having realized Brahman in its totality, comes back and lives as a Vijnani and Bhava Mukha for the good of the world. There are any number of scriptural supports for this. For example, in the Bhagavad Gita, the last chapter, Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham parigraham vimaccha nirmama shanto brahmabhuyaya kalpate. He becomes Brahman, Brahmabhuta prasannatma. After realization of Brahman, is there anything else? Brahmabhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu. Sees all beings as Brahman. Samasarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. Here Ramanuja's course. He gets parabhakti, which is superior to Brahmajnana. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. He knows me through that parabhakti. Yavan yaschasmi tattvata. Shankara's bhashya. Yavan yaschasmi knows me in the savikalpa and the nirvikalpa aspects, transcendent and immanent aspects, absolute and relative aspects, knowing me fully and totally as I am. Tattvataha. This word is used 2 times in the same shloka. Tato mam tattvato jnatva, having realized me, anantaram, immediately thereafter, vishate, tad vishate. He enters into that. The Bhashakaras say enters into me, but the Bhagavan himself in the original shloka does not use mai. He says tad anantaram vishate. He enters into that. Swami Tapasyanandaji, who was the vice president of the order, who was my intellectual mentor for nearly 15 years, he used to say, look at the statement, Vishate tadanantaram. Bhagavan steers clear of all the Vishishta Advaita, Dvaita and Advaita complications and says he enters into divine life. His whole life becomes charged with the consciousness of Brahman, of God, and he becomes a blessing to humanity. Then, Vishate tadanantaram, we should stop with that. Sarvakarmanyapi kurvano madhyapashraya. Next statement. Here Madhusudana Saraswati says, I am only a pygmy before the great Acharya Shankara, but still I can't but differ from him in the explanation of this verse. Sarvakarmani, all works, not only spiritual work, spiritual secular, sada, always, kurvanaha, shanach pratyayus, continuing to do. He has completely merged into that. How is it possible? Sarvakarmani sada kurvano madvyapasrayaha. That is the idea of Vijnani or Bhavamukha, through which Sri Ramakrishna beautifully reconciles the ideas of Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita, and Advaita, and presents the holistic understanding. Remain in any form you like. Become a man of God. In whatever way you want to worship God. Sri Ramakrishna repeatedly mentioned, and in fact he was unhappy with people who limit God. Don't put any limit in God. God is limitless, vast, infinite. Don't put a limit, say he can be this, and not that. You can't limit God. This once again comes from the idea of all your vision that you have only partial. The infinite cannot be understood by the finite mind. If you have your vision, at the most will be a partial vision, which to you may be true, and to your followers may be true, but don't fanatically say this alone is true. Ittu Krishnavad ekasmin karye saktam ahetukam atatvartavad alpam cha tat tamasamudahritam. Tamasic jnana, Bhagavan says in the Gita, one who realizes a very small part of the whole and illogically ahetukam thinks that Krishnavat, that itself is the whole, the frog in the well. You take a small portion and think that is the whole, and illogically, without any reason, hold on to that as the whole. Sri Ramakrishna says, come out of your narrow holes of your well and remember it is so vast. Simple example he used to give. An ant went to a sugar hill. Imagine the beautiful parable. An ant, a little fellow, is going to a hill of sugar. And it ate a small particle, stomach was filled. It took one more, walking back, looking at this. Next time on, I will drag the whole hill into my little hole. It is man's intellect, man's understanding of God is this much. Our understanding can be like that of an ant at the most. We can't go beyond that. So do not limit God how little you have understood. He also gave a interesting story. Huge ocean is in front. Shukadeva, one of the greatest of saints, Vyasa's son, there is a lore which says Shuka also did not touch the ocean. And Devadidev Mahadeva, the great god, Paramashiva, he just drank 3 sips and became Shava. Who can understand this whole? So, remembering that this infinite and the absolute is unrealizable by the mind and the senses, and the mind and senses going there trying to realize it, even if you realize that can't be the whole. So let us be humble and remember that we can't put any limit on God. What exactly He is, yavan yaschasmi tattvataha, can be realized only by a person who is parabhakti after brahmajnana, parajnana. So jnana and bhakti coil is there. The Bhagavad Gita, jnana bhakti coil is this example which I gave. Immediately after brahmajnana he gets parabhakti, and there is a statement in the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga in which he says, how do you become Trigunatita? Mam chayo vabbhivicharena bhakti yogena sevate sugunan samatityetan brahmabhuyaya kalpate. A person who worships me with ananya bhakti, undivided, complete, devoted understanding, he worships me, he attains brahmajnana. So jnana and bhakti are not differentiated here. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Amar matama brahmajnana deedavenu. You come to my mother, Divine Mother, and Divine Mother, if she wills, she can also give you Brahmajnana. So the tip before you go for lunch, I'm telling you, I'll give you a simple clue. The easiest way to Brahmajnana, I'm going to tell you, go to God with a sincere heart, shed tears. Oh God, give me Brahmajnana. What do you want? Brahmajnana? You want Samadhi? Hey, give Samadhi to this fellow. For him, the infinite and the absolute, what is Samadhi? What is Jnana for him? The great sage Patanjali also says, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, so many things he has said. Oh, it's too difficult. You want a simple method? Come to me privately. What is that? Ishvara pranidhanatva. There is an alternative method. Go and cry to Ishvara, surrender to Ishvara, and then you get it straight away. This is where Ramanuja scores. Through prapatti, you go to him, and you should feel helpless. Our problem is, we think we can help ourselves. God wants to help you. Then I say, you wait for some time, I can help myself. So Ramakrishna has one more story, and they stop. Suddenly, Vishnu, he was lying in the Kshira Samudra there, suddenly was rushing to the Bhurloka. After some time, he came back and lay down. Then Lakshmi asks the Bhagavan, just now you came and you came back, you see, one of my devotees, he was absorbed in my thought into his walking, and the washerman had put the clothes to dry, and he was walking over the clothes. The washerman came to beat him. Then I came rushing to save him. By the time, he himself took 1 or 2 bricks and then tried to help himself, so I came back. God helps those who do not help themselves. Karpanya. Rakshishyati iti Vishwasa. In the Prapatti Marga, Ramanuja says, you have faith that he shall save you. It's very simple to have. So Ramakrishna's simple example. He who has brought you into existence, will he not take care of you? A child goes to the mother, you have given birth to me, and therefore you shall have to take care of me. If God doesn't take care, who else will? So Ananya Bhakti, as the Bhagavad Gita says, Ananyas chintayanto mam yajana paryabhasate desham nityabhikta yogakshemam vahami. It does not say dadami, I myself will carry. The story of the Goswami. He said he was very unhappy. Dadami, God cannot himself come and he will send it through Amazon. Why should he come himself? Then he cut it out, said Dadami. Then he went for bath. 2 children came. One is Shamavarna, other is Gauravarna. Krishna and Balaram, carrying so many things. The wife of the Goswami said, oh, you look so pretty, so cute, so fine. What is all this? Your husband has sent all this for you. Then in one of the boys, the Shamavarna, there's a big scar and it is bleeding. Who beat you? Your husband has beat me like this. Because he cut out that line, Vahami, and put Dadami. So, God really comes and helps you. One more trick, Ram Prasad, which Ramakrishna was very fond of. Ram Prasad say, oh mother, whole life I cried and cried, please save me. You did nothing for me. All right, I am going to die now. So, I'll continue to call on you. But remember, you are going to get a bad name. Why? People will say, Hari, don't call on Durga. See Ramprasad? Whole life he cried on Durga, nothing happened. So you will lose your customers. And in Hindu religion, it's a very highly competitive among the gods and goddesses. In other religions, you have to go to only one man. If Durga doesn't save you, go to Kali. Kali doesn't save you, go to Ganesh and Kartikeya. So every god has to keep the clients with him. So you have to save me in order to save yourself. So this is Veer Bhakti. And it also says, if you don't, you have a contract with me, covenant. You said, I shall save you. The moment I came to this universe, you gave birth to me. You have to save me. If you break the covenant, I will go and sue you in the court. In the court of Mahadeva, I will sue you. I have the document with me signed by you and me, and I will go and sue her, immediately take a degree. So for us also, we are the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. We have come here with the faith Ramakrishna shall save. Don't say at the end of your life Ramakrishna will come and take you to Anantathama. Don't say all that. Ranganathan used to say, we don't want post-mortem realization. We want now, here and now. And if people say that at the end of your life, now I want, if they don't give me, then we shall sue Ramakrishna in the court of Sharada, and our barrister will be Swami Vivekananda. That's why he came as a barrister. Thank you.
ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని ఇంత దిగ్విజయంగా సుసంపన్నం చేసుకున్నామంటే మహానుభావులైనటువంటి స్వామీజీలందరూ రావడం, వారి వారి యొక్క అనుగ్రహ భాషలు చేయడం మన యొక్క అదృష్టంగా భావిస్తున్నాం. వారందరికీ కూడా పేరు పేరున రామకృష్ణ మఠం తరఫున నా యొక్క సాష్టాంగ ప్రణామాలను సమర్పిస్తూ ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని సుసంపన్నం చేసుకున్నాం. తర్వాత ముఖ్యమైనటువంటి అనౌన్స్మెంట్స్ 2 ఉన్నాయి, దయచేసి వినండి. ఎవరు లేవద్దు, దయచేసి కూర్చోండి. ఇప్పుడు ఈ భోజన ప్రసాదం అనేటువంటిది మగవారికి విఐహెచ్ఈ షెడ్, అలాగే దాని విఐహెచ్ఈ ఇన్ ఫ్రంట్ ఆఫ్ ఉన్నటువంటి హ్యూమన్ ఎక్సలెన్స్ అక్కడ మగవారికి, ఆడవారికి పూజా మండపం అండ్ పూజా మండపం లాన్. అర్థమైందా అండి? అర్థమైంది కదా? ఎవరైనా కొత్త వారు వస్తే పాత డివోటీస్ వాళ్ళని తీసుకెళ్తారు. మగవారికి విఐహెచ్ఈ షెడ్ మరియు విఐహెచ్ఈ షెడ్ పక్కన ఉన్నటువంటి లాన్, హ్యూమన్ ఎక్సలెన్స్, ఇన్ ఫ్రంట్ ఆఫ్ హ్యూమన్ ఎక్సలెన్స్. తర్వాత లేడీస్కి పూజా మండపం మరియు పూజా మండపం లాన్. తర్వాత బుక్ స్టాల్ ఓపెన్ చేసి ఉంది. ఈరోజు ప్రత్యేకంగా పుస్తకాలు కొనుక్కునేటువంటి వారికి 20% డిస్కౌంట్ ఇస్తారు. ముఖ్యంగా యువతకి నేను చెప్పేది ఏంటంటే, కొలంబో టు అల్మోరా అనేటువంటి లెక్చర్స్ ఫ్రమ్ కొలంబో టు అల్మోరా యువత అందరూ చదవండి. యువకులు చాలామంది ఉన్నారు కాబట్టి అందులో స్వామీజీ యొక్క పూర్తి ప్రణాళిక అంతా ఉంది. అందుచేత ఆ పుస్తకాలు వచ్చిన వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా 20% డిస్కౌంట్ ఇస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి పుస్తకాలు కొనుక్కొని వెళ్ళవలసిందిగా ప్రార్థిస్తున్నాం. జై శ్రీరామకృష్ణ. ఇప్పుడు స్వాములందరికీ కూడా యతి పూజ ఉంటుంది, అది కూడా వీక్షించి వెళ్ళి.
ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु शुभदिनं 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 धन्यवादः प्लीज़ प्रोसीड